Did I tell you I saw Spectre over the weekend?
How did you see it?
How?
Yes.
I downloaded it.
You downloaded it?
Yeah.
Oh, how much did that cost then?
I rented it. I think it was about £4 or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, and how long can you keep it for?
48 hours.
And then what do you have to do? Send it back?
Differently interesting extra time communion for minicab drivers.
Take the money and sit back down again.
Breastfeeding mums.
Oh, you've not been giving it its breakfast again, have you?
And people disturbed by urban foxes engaged in the act of lovemaking behind their bins.
Anybody there?
The two Mikes. Overworked, overweight, overpaid, overnight. On Talk Sport.
Look at the light!
The fact that I could make substantial amounts of money out of Everton Football Club being taken over by...
It's a happy coincidence, right?
Just a happy coincidence.
I mean, I wouldn't wish to pry, obviously.
Nobody cares, Porky. You're a plank.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two Mikes. It's the beginning of another massive week of football. It's time to say a very, very good morning to Mr. Mike, a Porky, a Parry. Very good morning to you, Mr. Parry.
And a very good morning to you, Mike. And it's the dawn of a new era, of course.
I assume you're flushed with the excitement
Absolutely.
of a takeover coming at Everton.
Absolutely.
Loads of money being piled in. And what was it you used to refer to, the sheikh's money or whatever it is? I mean, it's all going to be very exciting.
I used to call that as free money. Free money coming from the Middle East. But this is not. Our new would-be owner, the man who will gradually take over full control of Everton, Mr. Farhad Mashiri.
Mashiri.
Yeah, who... it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because there you go, and this man's a very shrewd investor. He's, according to Forbes magazine, which is the Bible of wealth in the world, probably, he's worth £1.3 billion.
Right. He's a good mate of Mr. Usmanov's, is he not?
A very good mate, yeah. Mr. Usmanov is said to be the richest man in the world.
Is he?
So it's good to have a mate like that.
It is.
But anyway, just to encapsulate what's happening here, Mr. Mashiri's decided to cash in his chips at Arsenal, for which he's reported to have got £200 million, and to spend a substantial part of that on acquiring just under 50% of Everton Football Club.
Yes, 49 point something or other, isn't it?
For the moment. It will be a graduated, completely autonomous takeover over the period of time, I believe. People like myself, who are individual shareholders, will be approached to see where they position themselves.
Oh, you mean you can be making some money here then?
Yes.
You sell your shares to this guy?
Yes, I can, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, there's always a silver lining then,
well,
I suppose. No wonder you're so excited about it.
No. I mean, I'm not materialistic at all.
I know. I've noticed that.
The fact that I could make substantial amounts of money out of Everton Football Club being taken over by...
It's a happy coincidence, right?
Just a happy coincidence.
I mean, I wouldn't wish to pry, obviously.
No,
but I mean,
no.
when we talk... I mean, could you give me like a ratio?
Oh, I couldn't possibly get into that, I'm sorry.
Of what sort of money you're talking about?
I could not possibly get into that.
You know, to look forward to a sort of a gift of largesse coming my way.
No, I couldn't possibly...
You know, so we could all benefit from the windfall.
I can't get into that. You know, I don't like talking about the filthy lucre and...
Filthy what?
The filthy lucre.
Lucre?
Yeah, filthy lucre, that's right.
Lucre.
Lucre, yeah. No, it's lucre to me, because lucre means like a looker, you know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Anyway, the point of my story is...
What is the point of your story?
Mr. Mashiri has decided to bail out at Arsenal, which he got a reported £200 million, and reinvest in Everton Football Club. That is a massive vote of confidence. And the way the guy talks about it, you know, the way the guy says, you know, the heritage and the history of Everton Football Club, a renowned club, famous throughout the world, he clearly gets it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is a brilliant thing. And it is very, very exciting indeed. And the other aspect of it is that the burden of responsibility for Everton that had fallen on Mr. Kenwright's shoulders, Mr. Bill Kenwright, still the current chairman, who's working alongside Mr. Mashiri during this takeover phase, had become so heavy and so onerous that it was obvious we had to try and find somebody else to alleviate that.
Well, the question, I suppose, on all Everton fans' lips will be, you know, will this be translated into the signing of a few decent players? Will
you
this
hope
be
so.
Translated into the keeping of a few decent
You
players
hope so.
as well?
I mean, if you believe the reports that have come from Merseyside, you know, obviously Liverpool, Walton, Everton, Goodison Park, Mr. Mashiri is not just bought into the club, but has indicated that he wishes to invest in rebuilding the team.
Right.
Not that it needs a huge amount of rebuilding, I wouldn't have thought. at the moment. But,
Yeah.
I mean, we've got 3 key players, and I suppose part of the rebuilding will be actually retaining our best 3 players, which
Yes.
everybody knows are Lukaku
Yes.
and Barkley and John Stones.
Yes.
And the other players who were all very, very good.
Some of whom we saw in the tunnel at Bournemouth last weekend.
Indeed, John Stones. We exchanged glances with John Stones, bit of a nod, bit of a wink, bit of a knowing look about where that result was going to go. Everton won 2-0, of course. And now the next big game, which will focus everything on whether or not Everton can be successful at the start of a new era, is Everton-Chelsea, week next Saturday, which is March the what?
I think
14th?
it's, the 14th.
14th.
Yeah.
Delighted to say I've secured a couple of seats for that game.
Right.
And we'll be whizzing up and down on the old...
When you say we,
on
you
the
mean
old
you and
Rattler.
I?
Sorry?
Do you mean you and I?
I didn't think you'd be able to make it.
Well, you haven't asked me yet.
Well, we went to Bournemouth, didn't we?
Yeah.
And, that took up a bit of your time. We're going to Crystal Palace.
Yes.
I didn't
That's
think you'd...
towards the end of April.
Yes, that's right. I didn't think you'd be able to make this one.
Oh, so you just unilaterally decided not to take me then?
Well, it's not that. It's just that I'm actually going with a friend of mine who is a multimillionaire bar owner. Sorry, what
you
your
haven't got
problem?
any friends?
Yes, I have.
You've not got any friends.
No, I have.
Cue the explanation, obviously.
Sorry?
Multi-millionaire bar owner.
Well, yes, I mean, that's
so
what he is.
presumably he comes with his own
Supply.
and sommelier and all the rest of it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's a long journey, that, on the train.
Well, no, we're going first class soon. What we've done is we bought 4 tickets to get a table for 4.
Are you going to buy a first-class ticket?
No, they've bought them, and we bought 4, so we can have a table for 4, so we don't have to mix with people who are undesirables or anything like that. You know what I mean? And
are you coming back the same night then?
Yes, we will do. Yeah.
Dear.
Yeah. Well, unless things go wrong, and then we'll have to stay at the Hard Day's Night Hotel, around the corner from Beatles
Street.
Street.
I'm sure you'll have a lovely time.
Oh no, it'll be great.
Thanks very much for asking whether I could make it.
Well, I didn't want to put pressure on you.
Well,
I didn't want to embarrass you. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean,
Why not? You embarrass me most of the time.
No, not at all. Anyway, look, there's that aspect of football from the weekend. I mean, really, truly exciting. Don't want to bore everybody else to death because, of course, Everton is personal to Everton fans.
Well, I'll tell you what we should do.
We have been looking for 10 years for an investor.
Well, instead of listening to you bang on about it, why don't we listen to what Roberto Martinez had to say instead?
I met Mr. Moshiri, and the impression that I got is a gentleman with incredible values, and someone that he knows the Premier League inside out because he's been involved in another Premier League football club. He knows how difficult it is to have a vision in football and put it into practice. That sometimes you get the business people that they don't understand it. Obviously, this is not the case here. He's someone that has been working very closely with a Premier League football club, and he knows what it takes.
Well, he would say that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, well, of course he would.
He's not going to say, I've had the pleasure of meeting him, and I can tell you right now he's the biggest charlatan I've ever come across in my entire life of investigating football executives.
Well, why would you even raise an issue like that?
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, it's all very well him saying he's a gentleman and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
He knows the Premier League inside out.
Yes.
But what else is he going to say?
Well, doesn't the track record give Mr. Martinez the right to say that? This man,
track record. What is his track record?
Well, his track record's an investor in Arsenal.
Yeah.
So if you've got £200 million,
he's made a lot of money out of Arsenal.
If you've got £200 million worth of Arsenal shares, you have some influence at the club, and you're alongside Mr. Usmanov, as you quite rightly say. Well, Mr. Usmanov, strangely enough,
Usmanov hasn't got any influence at the club.
Well, in the sense that he's not on the board, I agree, but in the sense that he owns 1/3 of the club, he certainly has.
Yeah, but he can't make them buy players to win. He can't even make them buy players to win against Manchester United.
No, but he's a massive presence.
Listen, I'm not giving him the guy a hard time. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is a difficult situation for Mr. Martinez, really, because he can't really say anything other than what he's just said.
Well, also, I think Mr. Martinez, who has a very close relationship with Mr. Kenwright, who is still the current chairman, but no longer the major shareholder, is my understanding. But will, continue as chairman in a sort of handover period. That relationship now has got to be forged with, presumably, with Mr. Moshiri. So Mr. Moshiri may look at it from a completely different aspect. Who knows? I don't know.
Indeed.
But, the main thing that all Everton fans have talked about over the weekend is Mr. Moshiri can prove himself to us as the man who's going to, change Everton around by retaining those 3 great players, and we have to have a new ground. We just have to.
OK. Well, that's enough about Everton. Let's talk about Louis van Gaal instead.
I agree. I totally agree.
Let's talk about Louis van Gaal.
I mean, do you know what? Since Louis van Gaal found that actually he is going to be replaced at the end of the season, probably by Jose Mourinho.
Do you think the old cloud has lifted?
Well, he's lightened up, hasn't he? He even had a bit of a... Not only did he have a laugh during the game, which we'll talk about in a sec, but at the end of the game, made a few quips in the press conference instead of glowering at reporters and saying,
but that's 'cause they
you
won,
watch me shacked? You watch me shacked? It's my job?
But that's because they won, though. I mean, he's always in a better mood when he wins.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I thought his dive during the game was brilliant, didn't you?
I thought so.
I mean, I've never seen that. It's unprecedented for a manager to be that effusive about trying to make himself clear to the officials.
The thing I'm happy about is that some po-faced official didn't sort of send him off to the stands or give him
Exactly.
some kind of red card and say, how dare you, be so kind of disrespectful to
Exactly.
match officials.
Yeah, do you think we should try it?
I think we should.
Try it ourselves?
I think I'd do a pretty good version
I wonder
of
how badly you could damage yourself by throwing yourself to the ground like that.
Well, I don't think you damage yourself,
I
would
think
you?
you could. Should we have a go?
Any health and safety issues?
Well, it might be.
Okay, well, we'll have to find a place to do it.
Okay, let's do it now.
All right, we'll do it in a moment while people are thinking about what we're going to do next.
Okay.
Shall we?
Yeah.
This is Talk Sport with the two mics.
Drive on Talk Sport, the UK's only sports-dedicated drive time with Sky Sports. The sharpest analysis on all the day's action from the giants of sport.
Shane Warne is with us on the show. How you doing, Shane?
G'day guys, how are you?
Laser-guided comment and rapid reaction from a nation of sports fanatics.
Into the corner of the net!
Drive home with Darren Goff and Adrian Durham.
Who else?
Weekday afternoons from 4 on Talk Sport with Sky Sports, the home of the Barclays Premier League.
Colin Murray.
You would put him alongside Clooney in a movie.
This morning from 10.
Very creamy.
Oh, we're in trouble here, boys.
Talk Sport.
Crazy, but that's how it goes. Millions of people living as hoes. Yeah, but maybe it's not too late.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics. I'm delighted to say that we have reenacted the Louis van Gaal dive.
Yep.
And if you go to the two mics Twitter account, you'll be able to vote. Now, we've come up with a plan, which is basically that whoever wins this particular vote will be entitled to an extra 1%.
Right, okay.
In the winners and losers scenario.
That's fair enough.
If, for example, winners and losers was to end up 50-50 at midnight, as it sometimes does. Whoever wins the 1% would obviously have a swing vote scenario.
Exactly. So
what we have to decide, though, is it only 1% to win?
Well, 1% is the balance, the controlling balance of an even Stevens vote.
So it only kicks in if it's 50-50.
Yes, it does, yes.
So it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter if it's 52-48.
I see what you mean. Well, it can't be, can it? Because it's 51-49. There's not a 1% difference, is there? It's a 2% difference.
Technically, if you go from 51 to 49, it's only 1% difference.
No, but there's no point in adding the 1% to the 49% because that's 50 against 51.
Yeah, but if you take one, well, this is what I mean. It's only really an additional 1%.
It's an additional 1%.
It's not an actual 1%.
No,
because mathematically speaking, I know you struggle with this, but 1%.
No, I don't struggle with it.
1% would be taken away from the winner and added to the loser, which would make it even.
No, it means the voting in the event of a tie, the voting for winners and losers tonight is out of 101%.
That makes it very clear.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we reenacted that, and all you've got to do is look at it, kids. What is it on?
Kids.
Yes, what's it on?
It's on the Two Mics Twitter account.
Two Mics Twitter account. You have a look at it and see whether you think my flailing dive to the ground, which I have to say I think is superior to old MG's. Okay? Have a look at that. Thank you. Now, some dates I want to correct you about. Okay.
Go on then.
First of all, I said that the Everton game was on March the 14th.
Yeah.
That's a Monday.
Is it?
It's not. It's on the 12th.
You were worried it was going to be on Monday.
I was.
It turns out there are no FA Cup games on the Monday.
No.
So where did you get that from?
Well, they said the games will be between 11th and 14th. So that's Friday the 11th, Saturday 12th, Sunday 13th, Monday 14th. Why did they say it was going to be over 4 days if it wasn't?
Well, again, it's a technicality, isn't it? I mean, I suppose they are between the 11th and the 14th. Yeah. It's just not on the 14th.
No, exactly. So Everton's is
you're going on the 12th then? Yeah,
5:30 on the 12th.
Okay.
So we're going up on the Sugar, on the old Rattler.
What time's the train going?
Midday.
Oh, dear.
And we have to do a run at the end of the game because last train back, 10 to 8.
10 to 8?
10 to 8.
So last train back?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Well, it's not last train back, but it's last train back if you want to get into London that night. You can go on the trains later back, which get you there at 4 o'clock in the morning after two
that's bonkers, though,
changes.
isn't it?
Well,
why is it so hopeless?
I don't know. That's the way it is. And the other date I want to correct people about, remind people about, is today, of course, is hello boyo.
Happy St David's Day.
St David's Day.
It is indeed.
So,
and it's funny you should say that because, of course, we're going to Cardiff in May, aren't we?
We are indeed. Yeah.
May the 7th.
That's right. So I want to say a big Happy St David's Day to the bog cleaner.
That's very harsh.
Sorry?
See, I was hoping that this week you would turn over a new leaf.
Yes.
Because Derek from Pencoed is not in any way somebody that should be talked down to.
Yeah. I'm not talking down to.
In any way should be dissed in any way. He's been a fan of the show for many years.
Yeah.
And I think it's very disrespectful that you refer to him as a bog cleaner.
I'm not dissing him, but I want to thank William for pointing out this St David's Day. Thank you very much indeed,
What about
William.
the other thing that you normally do on the 1st of every month, which you now can't do?
Rabbits!
No, you can't do it now.
Of course I can.
No,
Why?
because you're supposed to do it first thing.
Yeah, I did. I was going to until you
no.
started talking rubbish and I had to correct you. That was all.
Here's a new copy of that new paper, The New Day.
Yeah, I know, I've seen that, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. I mean, it's great to have a new paper. We're journalists and we spent 25 years in Fleet Street.
25p trial price, it says at the top.
Trial? I thought...
Does that mean if you're on trial, you pay 25p?
I thought the first day was free. That was yesterday.
Yeah.
Second day, 25p.
Yeah.
Anyway, it shows the revolution in the newspaper world, doesn't it? Does it say it's going up to 50p?
It's going to go up to 50p, I think, in about 6 months or something.
Right, OK, yeah.
Or maybe it's going up to 50p tomorrow.
OK.
It's a fascinating strategy they've got.
Yeah.
Give it away for nothing for a day.
Yeah.
And then charge 25p.
Yeah, well, I wish them luck. I wish anybody in any new enterprise, any new venture, I wish you luck. And anybody who brings a new paper onto the market and then can actually make it work should be applauded.
Well, yeah, if they can make it work, but I'm not sure this one's going to work.
Exactly. Now, what did you think of the old League Cup final in Manchester City?
Well, I mean, I saw that you
I thought it was terrific, wasn't it?
I saw that you were giving poor old Raheem Sterling a hard time throughout.
No, I wasn't giving him a hard time throughout.
Yeah, you were.
No, I wasn't.
You were.
I wasn't
you
at all.
You said that guy seems to have a problem playing the ball when it's gone out of play or something like that.
No, what I said was... Didn't you see at one stage he was down the left wing and the ball went out and he tried to keep running it and the ref blew up and said it had gone out.
Yeah, but what's wrong with that?
Well, it's a bit of a replication, isn't it, of the incident in which he blatantly crossed the ball when it was out in the Everton semi-final. Of course it was.
You can't let go of that. Bottom line is that he's a player, a bit like the John Terry situation where people said, John Terry should never have scored that goal, he was offside. It's not for the footballers to decide to rule themselves offside.
Anyway.
Did you see, by the way, there was a game, I think it was the Juventus Real Madrid game.
Yes.
Was it Juventus Real Madrid? No, Juventus Bayern Munich last week.
Yes.
And Patrice Evra was down in the left-hand corner playing for Juventus, right?
Yeah.
And the ball appeared to go out. And he stopped playing. And suddenly the guy who had the ball just basically walked round him and made a cross to one of his players and then nearly scored a goal. And the commentator said, well, that's very, very much what you shouldn't do. Just because you think the ball's gone out, you play to the whistle. If you're Raheem Sterling, why should you suddenly stop and go, sorry, ref, the ball's gone out?
Supposed to play to the whistle. Anyway, all I said...
there was no whistle until the whistle went and then he stopped.
I take your point. What all I said about Raheem Sterling was, afterwards, and he did miss two sitters, Raheem Sterling. I mean, whatever you want to say about it, the fact of the matter is he missed two sitters, which could have cost Manchester City the game. But the point I made in Twitter was that Jamie Carragher and Jamie Redknapp were talking after the game. Jamie Redknapp said... he's not very good at striking the ball. And Jamie Carragher got involved and said, what do you mean? He said, well, certain footballers are good at some things, not good at others. He's not actually that good at striking the ball.
Yeah.
And all I said was, he's paid at least £135,000 a week. We think that was the deal he signed at Manchester City.
Yeah.
And... he's a professional footballer, and for two former professional footballers, both England internationals, to say, he's not very good at striking the ball, isn't the first requirement of a professional footballer to have the ability to strike a football properly? Isn't that the main...
Well, you would think that would be certainly one of the
point of the exercise?
Well, one of the most important things, yes.
If you suddenly said, that John Lennon, he was all right, but he wasn't a very good singer, you know what I mean? You'd think there was something wrong there, wouldn't you? You know what I mean?
Well, I suppose, but I mean, it's not very... Once again, it's the wrong analogy to make.
It's not the wrong analogy.
It is, because there are plenty of great guitarists, for example, who are not particularly good singers.
Yeah, but John Lennon wasn't just a guitarist. John Lennon was a singer-songwriter, the best in the second half of the 20th century.
I mean, why are we talking about John John Lennon already.
Well, because I'm making the analogy. You know, you find it difficult to cross-pollinate different professions, whereas my brain
I've been cross-pollinating
all
my life. I do it very well. I had a very odd thing happen to me this weekend. I wanted to know what to make of it, right?
Yes.
I took the kids out to Beachy Head. On Saturday, which was just because we hadn't been there really in sort of recent memory.
It's a very sinister sort of. Do
you know what was weird? Actually,
aura about it. There's phones all over the place, isn't
well,
it?
Not only phones, but as we drove past the sort of the main lay-by, which is where the kind of the main part of the cliff is.
Yes,
there's a car parked in there.
Yes,
which had chaplaincy service on it.
Oh, I say, yeah.
So there's like a chaplain sitting in the car
exactly, yeah. So,
but anyway, aside from that, that wasn't the story. I was getting some petrol.
Yes.
In a petrol station.
Yes.
And as I was filling the car up, there was another Land Rover just sort of across the way.
Okay.
Which
this is on the petrol forecourse.
It's on the petrol forecourse. Guy comes out of the shop.
Yes.
Wearing a pair of very bright green trousers. The kind that...
was he a clown, was he?
Well, no, he's the sort of, those kind of posh people you see in Chelsea.
Oh, yeah.
Who wear very ridiculous coloured trousers.
Yeah, because they're
like
trendy,
sort of mustard cords.
Yeah.
And he had his son with him, right?
Right.
And he comes out, and I thought, I bet you that's the guy that drives the Land Rover. Of course it was, right?
Yeah, right.
And he comes over to me as he's walking past my car.
Yes.
And says, excuse me, in a very posh voice, I'm terribly sorry to bother you. He said, would you be interested in selling your number plate? And I said, I beg your pardon?
Yeah.
And I'm standing there like filling the thing up,
Yeah.
Would you be interested in selling your number plate? I said, well, to be honest, I don't even know. I've never sold a number plate before. I said it would probably depend on how much it costs to get a new one and all of that. I said, but, it depends on how much you're offering me, really. And he said, well, I have a friend whose exact initials are your number plate. And I said, oh, well, great. And he said, may I have your phone number? And I went, yeah, okay. Because he had a kid with him. I didn't think anything of it, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, well, fair enough, And everyone in the car's going, why is he talking to this guy? What's going on? Anyway, so I gave him my number. I never heard from him again.
Right.
Well,
so when was this?
This was on Saturday.
Well, it's only Saturday. For goodness sake, it's only 2 days.
Well, yeah, it's 3 now.
3?
But, I mean, I'm thinking to myself...
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah.
Well, the way he said it was as if he was going to go and call his mate and say, look, I've found this car that's got your initials on it. Do you fancy buying it?
Yeah, very odd.
But I'm now thinking, what can he do with my number plate and my phone number? Because, maybe it was some kind of scam.
Oh, some kind of con man.
Yeah. Well, surely not, because he had a child with him.
No. Anybody can take a number plate off any car, can't they? It's not a secret number plate.
Well, I figured you would know. I mean, it's the number plate it was given when it was first registered.
In fact, it's got your mobile phone on. I don't think that connects at all. I've got 4 number plates.
Well, you've told me. Funnily enough, I said that I would ask you because you know the cost of these things.
Yeah.
And if somebody wanted to buy, and I said,
well, it depends. It depends what it's worth to the guy you're buying it from.
Well, I mean, I figured if the guy offered me $1,000 or something, I'd say, yeah, sure.
Oh no, I'd hold out for much more than that.
Would you?
Oh, much more. The cheapest one I've bought cost me $4,900.
Really?
Yes.
And why don't you put it on your car?
Because I've got 4 number plates and 1 car at the moment. I used to have.
Yeah, I know, but your car.
2 Jags.
Yeah, but your car. Yeah, well, like John Prescott.
Yeah.
But your car doesn't have a special number plate on it.
No, it doesn't. No.
Well, what's the point of having 4 that you don't use?
Well, one of these days I will buy that car. In fact, funnily enough, I explored a deal for a new car over the weekend because it looked very attractive.
Well, you've only just got one.
I know, but I might be swapping it. And
why? What sort of car?
An Aston Martin. What are you laughing at?
I saw Spectre over the weekend.
Well, I'm going
to.
Oh, yes. Somebody pointed out that the Two Mikes DVD is even better value than Spectre.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
We can't say why though, can we?
No.
But
if you haven't got it yet, go to twomikes.co.uk. This is Talk Sport.
If you've recently noticed that you're starting to lose your hair, there are a range of options open to you. You could have a hair transplant, as long as you're earning as much as a Premier League footballer. For the more thrifty amongst us, there's always the classic comb-over. Or if you really want to make a statement, why not go all out and get yourself a poodle perm wig? However, if you want to do something effective, you're going to need facts, not fiction. Regain for Men Extra Strength Scalp Foam contains minoxidil, which has been scientifically proven to help stop and even reverse hereditary hair loss, working deep down at the root. It can be used on a receding hairline, and the earlier you start using it, the higher your chances of success. You could even start seeing visible results in 16 weeks. And now Regain has an app that gives you support and advice to track your progress and maintain your twice-daily routine. Separate the facts from the fiction at regain.co.uk. Regain contains minoxidil. Always read the label.
I'd wanted to tell Ellie for ages, so I just came out with it. Then she said,
"Don't join the army."
I sat there really calmly and said, "Don't do what, Elle?" Don't leave this place. Don't make a difference in the world. Don't find out what I'm capable of. Don't become a better me. Then she gave me this stupid smile. That's when I knew she got it.
To find out how to be a better you, search Army Jobs. Army, be the best.
Time for a new 16-plate van. Time for a Mercedes-Benz Citan, Vito or Sprinter. How about 0% APR and a service plan for just £10 a month across the whole model range? There's never been a better time than this March to drive away with a new 16-plate Mercedes-Benz van. Clock's ticking. Find out more at mbvans.co.uk. Business users only. Hire purchase only. Maximum term 36 months. Minimum deposit 20%. VAT at 20% applies. Credit approvals by 31st of March 2016. Mercedes-Benz Finance.
Get set for a tick-attack takeoff when we play Back of the Jet on Talk Sport with Beko, official sponsors of FC Barcelona. Listen to Hawksby and Jacobs all this week from 1. Prove you're eager about La Liga by answering Talk Sport's teasers. And you and 3 friends could be in the Back of the Jet to see FC Barcelona versus Valencia with VIP tickets. Enter at talksport.com/win. Play Back of the Jet on Talk Sport with Beko. Beko's stylish new built-in range comes with a 2-year warranty. Everything you love about Beko built in.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Talk Sport.
You know this song?
I'm not that aware of it, to be honest, but
Really?
I mean, it's... did I hear the start of it properly?
Yeah. It's a band called The Farm.
Oh,
Right?
The Farm, yeah, it is, yeah, I know, yeah.
Liverpudlian band.
Yeah, that's right,
Presumably
yeah.
they're Everton fans.
Yeah, they are, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, terrific.
Yeah, very good. Now, I've got to read you a few tweets, because
Okay.
we have to keep
Yes.
keep on top of these. Right. How about this one from me? Ernie says, Porky wins. This is on the dive. Porky wins hands down. Not too bad for a guy who has 1/3 of his heart working.
Thank
as
you.
It looked like it had stopped completely.
Thank you.
Here's one from Leslie, who says, MG gets my vote. Stylish, committed and beautifully executed.
Yeah, but you've got white trousers on, so
they're
your
not
legs
white.
flailing all over the place
not white.
are more obvious.
No, they're not white at all.
What colour are they then?
Well, I would say they're a sort of, I don't know, khaki.
No, they're white.
They're not white.
Anyway.
They are not white.
Right, go on.
Unas says this. You missed a trick. One of you should have said Shoeberry Town before the dive, and you would have got my vote.
Absolutely.
David, who apparently has no sense of humour at all, he's a Man United fan, he says, it's just another excuse to mock LVG.
No, we're not mocking
I don't
him.
think it's a mocking thing
we're
at all.
We're actually saying,
Paying
isn't it
tribute.
great he's got a sense of humour?
Mick says, good job, Porky is closer to the ground. He doesn't have as far to fall.
Yeah, that's very nice, isn't it?
Manuel says, the man with 1/3 of a working heart gets my vote for putting his body on the line.
Yeah.
A fall like that could kill him any other day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It sort of goes like that, really.
That's
James
great.
says old MG's dive was better, even Porky was about to crack up. But you're winning at the moment, so 60% to 40%.
Excellent. Good.
165 votes cast.
Right, well, that's great.
So go to Twitter and you can have a look and see which one you prefer.
Thank you very much. Now,
Seems to be pretty evenly kind of matched
I think so.
on the comments.
I think so. That's good. Now, one here about your number plate.
Yeah.
It says, I bet old MG's number plate is worth more than old Porky's stake in Everton. That's why he won't share his gains.
Well, I can't speak for that. I've no idea, since you wouldn't tell me.
Exactly, and also it doesn't make any sense that because.
Well, he says that my number plate's worth more than your stake in Everton.
Well, I don't think it is. But anyway, there we go. But no, the average you would pay for a number plate, if somebody wanted it, would be about $4,500.
Really?
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be amazed if anybody wanted to pay that for the number plate I've got, because it's not like a special number plate where you just go, well, there's 3 letters and 2 numbers or something like that. I mean, it's a normal number plate.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's got like 7... letters and numbers.
Sure. Sean says here, quite informatively, the Farm are mostly Reds, by the way, Porky. So there you go.
So why don't they do an Everton song then?
Well, I don't know. I suppose that they believe in equality of opportunity.
Here's a good one. Doesn't have a name on it, though.
Right.
MG says, how on earth has Parry got all this money? All he talks about is what he's got and hasn't got. Number plates, properties, Everton shares.
I don't.
What's his talent and which fool is paying him?
I don't, honestly. I don't. And I'm sorry if it comes over like that, and it shouldn't do. But I mean, at my stage in life, you manage to
I think he's more excited about, or more interested in the fact that somebody's actually managed to give you all this money and you've acquired all this money.
Nobody's given me money at all. It's just that, you work all your life and all that kind of stuff. It just so happens...
Well, I think that's what you're surprised about.
No, it just so happens that I've decided now, after years and years of prudence and investment and acquisition, I'm going to start spending, that's all. So I'm not trying to be flash. These things just happen. Now, I'll tell you what I want to talk to you about.
Yeah, go on.
I want to talk to you about that dreadful story involving the Stag party. You were on an aeroplane which had to come down in Berlin because it is alleged 6 members of the party of 12 who were going to, was it Bratislava or somewhere?
Bratislava.
Or Slovenia or somewhere like that.
Well, it could have been either or.
Yeah, well, I'll find out in a minute. And they had to bring the plane down in Berlin because the
this was on the way out, wasn't it?
This is on the way out, yeah. Now, I tell you what, I've read several versions of this story because I hate our country to be embarrassed by the, lewd and outrageous behaviour of young men in drink.
Yeah.
But apparently...
There's nothing worse.
There's nothing worse at all. Slovakia it was, by the way. And the thing is, these guys started in Luton, right?
Yeah.
Now, according to one report I read, they were so plastered...
I'm surprised they let them on the plane.
Well, this is the point, Mike. This is the point I was going to make, right?
Yeah.
These guys got so plastered in the bar that when they were in the departure lounge, they were turbulent, they were noisy.
Turbulent?
Yeah, they were loud. One of them had to be held up by his mates to get him down the walkway onto the plane and all that kind of stuff.
I presume they were on a budget airline without wishing to name it.
It was, well, I can tell you who it was. Everybody knows it's, was it Ryanair? Ryanair. It's a Ryanair flight to Slovakia, which had to divert to Berlin.
Yeah.
And they might have to end up paying like €25,000 for the cost of putting a plane down and all that kind of stuff.
Mr. O'Leary will probably bill them for that.
I don't blame him. The point is, though, should they have been allowed to get on the plane in the first place? Apparently they're demanding drink even before the plane door had closed.
Well, I'm surprised. I mean, I have to
say,
say, because of the way things are now when you fly, I'm surprised that they were let on, because normally speaking, somebody would be at the gate saying, I'm sorry, sir, you're far too intoxicated to get on the plane.
Exactly.
I don't know how they managed it, really.
Yeah, the fact that I'm quoting one other passenger. The fact that they're allowed to board at all after making a huge nuisance of themselves in the departure hall at Luton and being so drunk that some were struggling to stand up is an absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
And they
That's
say...
horrendous for everybody else on the plane.
It must have been horrendous as well. And this guy goes on to say, and I'm sure Ryanair will respond to this, it was a total failure by Ryanair's ground staff at the gate and by the cabin crew should have spotted them. This was not hard, given that they were extremely loud and obnoxious whilst boarding and finding their seats.
Yeah. No, I was very surprised that I mean, normally speaking, I mean, people have been, denied access to planes when they haven't actually been that intoxicated.
Well,
but certainly, I mean, you've heard my stories of when I was flying to New York and the guy said to me he didn't want to serve me any more alcohol.
I know.
Just because he thought I was taking it all for myself, and in fact I was distributing it to
for other people. Yeah, well,
I'm
amazed that I've never had a problem getting off a plane in America because they can be very strict about it. And I remember once I went to Chicago and I don't know why, but I was in business class and it was a great sort of party feeling on the plane all the way over.
Really?
And
a party of one?
No, I mean, there's quite a few people on that plane and I didn't wake up for 2 days after I got to Chicago, and I thought, I wonder how they let me off the plane. And all kind of stuff. I must say, in fairness, that Ryanair issued a statement saying, we will not tolerate unruly or disruptive behaviour at any time, and the safety and comfort of our customers, crew and aircraft is our number one priority. This is now a matter for the local police. So
were they then arrested in Berlin?
Six of them, I think.
Right.
There was a party of 12.
Right.
Yeah, but they weren't detained for very long, because the German police are not interested in holding drunks from Britain.
Right.
They were detained, they were taken off the plane, detained.
And sent back? Or?
They were processed. They were told to make their own way wherever they wanted to go to Germany after that. But Ryanair were not having them on the flight anymore. It was simple as that. But it drives me mad, this sort of thing. It doesn't have to happen like that.
The worst thing is, right, that these guys probably will wear that now as some kind of badge of honour.
I don't think they will.
They'll come back here and, there's no apparent ramifications, are there?
Well, I think there are.
It's not as if they're going to be banned from flying.
Well, they might be. I don't know. But, I mean, the point is, one of the guys is described as a businessman.
Businessman?
Yeah, who owns his own sort of roofing company or something like that. They were aged 25 to 28.
Yeah. Par for the course.
And the bridegroom was a guy called Joshua Mariner, setting off to celebrate ahead of his marriage to Abby Whitmore.
Yeah.
German police briefly detained the group, who are from Southampton. Another 6 in the party stayed on the flight when it resumed from Berlin to Bratislava. So,
So 6 of them went on to Bratislava?
Yes.
And the rest of them stayed in Germany?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, not a very good start to your stag night. But you see, this is why I have always persistently refused to go on a stag night. I've never been on one. I just won't go on these things because...
Did you not come on mine?
No, definitely not.
Where were you then?
I was in Washington, D.C.
Were you?
Yeah.
So did you just come up for the day then? In the morning of the wedding?
No. I came
must
from
have been
Britain
there
to
the
your
night
wedding.
before.
No, I came from Britain to your wedding.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
I didn't, sorry. So I didn't go to your stag night. Your stag night wasn't the night before anyway.
No, that's true. It was, but I think it was that week, though.
Yeah, it was, but I only came in the day before your wedding.
Maybe, yeah.
And then somebody else had a stag night. Did Alan Hall have a stag night?
He did have a stag night in New York, yeah.
Oh, well, I was in Washington and didn't come up for that, or whatever. But anyway, point of my story is...
But that was also one of those things where it was a night in a city in which you live, as opposed to taking a week to go, or a weekend to go somewhere for collaboration.
These stag nights have got completely out of hand now because of the cheap flights and the cheap beer in European capitals, the opening up of borders and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, they're not waiting for the cheap beer when they get there, by the looks of things, as far as these people are concerned.
So plastered in the airport lounge. But if somebody has a stag night and it's properly organised, the worst thing you can do is abuse the hospitality that the bridegroom is offering by getting completely out of control. Talking about drinking on planes, by the way. Do you remember our
I've seen the Time talking about that, by the way.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
I am worried about the Time.
The crime correspondent at the Daily Express?
Hey?
The crime correspondent at the Daily Express?
Yeah.
Won't mention names.
No.
I sent him to Paris to a rugby game because he's a big rugby fan. Yeah, because he'd done
never
very
got
good.
sent anywhere.
Oh, no, he'd done very well, and somebody...
But there
else
was a
just got
reason
the
why he
tickets.
didn't get sent anywhere, though.
Oh, yeah, I know that, yeah. But anyway, he had a problem on the plane coming back, and I didn't find that out until I got a court report from a magistrate's court alleging that he was so plastered, he was...
He'd have to be restrained.
He
wasn't that kind of drunk, I didn't think.
Well, he was with a group of guys, you see, and he got sort of sucked into it, unfortunately.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah.
How about this one from Paul, who says, self-proclaimed man of the people has 4 personalised number plates. Don't make me laugh, Porky, you snob.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I'm awfully sorry. Honestly, what I meant was they're an investment. They are an investment. They still are.
Why?
But, Bill, there's a company called, I think it's Registration Transfers, who have millions of plates.
Yeah.
And collecting them and dealing in them is a bit like dealing... We were talking about coins and stamps last week.
Right.
But what happens is you hold them and then suddenly they will contact you by email and say, we have had an offer for your plate number. Do you accept it or not? And it might be double what you paid for it and that kind of stuff. So I'm not collecting personalised plates. It is a business.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Pete says this, Mike, I've recently been done by a scam which sounds very similar to the situation you explained. You should keep an eye on your bank account for a while to make sure it all remains in order.
Nah. What sort of car did this guy get into? The guy with
Land Rover.
Green trousers. A nice one?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you've been done.
I don't think so.
No.
This is Talk Sport.
Talk Sport.
Goals galore.
Give it a workout.
Oh, my word!
On DAB, digital radio, and 1089 and 1053 AM.
Over in America. I'll tell you what's very interesting in this newspaper. I don't want to call it a newspaper.
Right.
The New Day, right?
Right, yeah.
They said that they were going to be unbiased, right? This is their thing. They were going to do only unbiased sort of columns.
Independent, are you, and all that.
Yeah, and all that sort of thing,
yeah.
right? The introduction to a piece about President Trump says this, by Susie Boniface, who's, of course, Fleet Street Fox.
Yes.
Imagine America goes mad and elects Donald Trump as its 45th president. That's the intro.
Yeah, that's very unbiased, isn't it?
That's not very unbiased, is it?
No, not really.
I mean, whatever you may think about Donald Trump, there's a pretty good chance he's actually going to win the Super Tuesday primaries, isn't he?
Indeed.
He's got 49% of the vote, apparently.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So we'll talk about that. We might get an expert on tomorrow, but we shall explore it a little bit later on. A couple of...
I find this a rather outrageous claim, by the way. Sorry, Mike, before you go on. The editor is a lady called Alison Phillips, who's been around in Fleet Street for a long time.
Well, yeah,
exactly. She says, people even stopped me in the street to say how happy they were that the paper was finally going to show the good things as well as just the bad. I have never, in my whole Fleet Street experience, ever come across an editor who's been recognised in the street by a reader.
Morgan. Piers Morgan's the only one.
Well, of course he is, but only since he left the Mirror. I mean,
no, because he was on TV a lot when he was there.
He was, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure, with the best will in the world, and great respect to Alison, she's a lovely woman.
She is. Yeah.
I don't think she's being recognised in the street.
No, I don't think so either. But anyway, there you go. Who are you to question that?
Indeed. How about this one from Julian, who says, if I was on that plane, I'd be seeking compensation from the airline in its failure to ensure a safe flight and destination.
Well, you might be, but the funny thing is here, it says, right, first of all, Porky's dive is hands down better. You know Porky does drama way better than you, MG. He is a drama queen. That's a bit harsh. That comes from Diz.
Well, Lee says, I've got to give it to MG. He's got the clipboard bang on, and that's LVG's biggest asset.
What? Oh, the clipboard. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, I gave you the clipboard. I said, here, I'll have a clipboard.
Well, thank you very much.
So that was my prop.
Well, it doesn't matter whose prop it was.
So the idea that you used it better than me is a bit of a, contradiction in terms.
As I said, the jury is literally still out. 58-42 at the moment is the...
in my favour.
In your favour,
yes.
That's
good, yeah.
Martin says, the Portmeister dives like a girl. He hangs on to old MG, #numpty.
That's a bit odd.
Ethan says, Porky gets my vote, total commitment. It's a shame the Oscars were last night and not next week.
Well, that's true. It's absolutely true.
And Ian says you fell like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, well, I had to go down. You've got to remember, I've only got 1/3 of my heart work, so,
Yeah, well, once again, more evidence as if you didn't need it. That there's nothing wrong with you at all. Let's talk to Dan Thomas, who works for ESPN, because we're lucky enough to have loads and loads more football to look at tonight. And tomorrow, we've got Liverpool-Manchester City coming up live on TalkSport, 8 o'clock tomorrow. Yeah. But tonight, of course, Leicester, who are not the favourites, according to Claudio Ranieri, because he seems to think that Tottenham and Arsenal are. They take on West Brom. Dan, a very good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, gents. How you doing?
Yeah, very well indeed, thank you.
Very well indeed. Another exciting weekend. I don't want to dwell on it too much because we've got lots of stuff to look forward to. But, Claudio Ranieri starting the old mind games on the back pages this morning, saying that he thinks Tottenham are the favourites and it's theirs to lose. What do you reckon?
He's been playing these mind games all season, hasn't he? The rhetoric at the start was we just needed 40 points just to be safe, and then that was changed to, well, whatever happens now is a bonus. And you can understand why he's continually playing down his team's chances. Kante out is a big loss, isn't it, for Leicester? He has just been so good this season, and I think it's going to be interesting now. We've talked about Leicester all season, about the lack of depth in squad, and it's just going to get tested between now and May with regards to whether or not they can hold on at the top.
Yeah.
Dan, I'll tell you what, there's been a bit of speculation that Mr. Ranieri is playing mind games by saying Spurs...
We just said all that.
Yes.
Said all that.
Hang on. By saying that Spurs, it's theirs to lose. But that's right. Spurs have a stronger squad, the point you've just made. And they have probably a better manager, Pochettino. And the situation there is that the run they're on now, 6 consecutive victories, that could go on right to the end of the season.
No question. Spurs have been really impressive, haven't they? You take a look at the fact they went behind against Swansea, but there was no Spurs of old. You just felt that once they got that equalised, there was no way they were not going to take the 3 points from that game. And you have to admire the way in which Pochettino has solidified this team. And what you know when you take on Spurs, when you think ahead to the North London derby this weekend, Spurs don't give you anything.
No.
This is a well-drilled unit. And that's the thing, and that's why they are the difference makers at the moment compared to the other title contenders. Spurs are tight at the back. They don't make mistakes. They take their chances. And that's what's going to win you this championship. You just look at Arsenal and the way they shot themselves in the foot this weekend. I was really disappointed with their performance against United. And with Leicester, and as much as you would love to see as a neutral this fairy tale come true, I would agree with Ranieri. At the moment, Spurs are favourites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Interestingly,
I totally agree.
I would have agreed with him. Apart from, Leicester's win against Norwich at the weekend was the sort of win that teams that win the league get at this stage of the game, isn't it? Because, for all the world, it looked like it was going to be a draw. They were going to get a point. Suddenly the lead was going to be cut back. And then they suddenly got that sort of last-minute goal. And I was talking also to our executive producer here at TalkSport, who's a Spurs fan. He was at the game at the weekend. And he was saying there's a real belief at White Hart Lane now that Tottenham are actually going to do something this year.
And fans players can feel that, can't they? And you take a look at Ranieri, a couple of great substitutions. And in the past, if this was Leicester last year, I think they would have taken the draw at that stage. But, of course, Ranieri's hand has been forced now because of the way in which this season has gone. He has to throw on more attacking options, and it paid off, as you say, in the 89th minute. It is, as someone who just loves watching football, I'm so excited about this Premier League run-in because it is going to be about who has got the bottle to take it all the way. And that's exactly what we love. We love the drama. We love the theatre of this sport.
Yeah.
And it's going to be played out so beautifully over the next 3 months.
Well, talking about those who've got bottle is one thing, Dan. What about those who haven't got bottle? What's happened to Arsenal and what will happen to them if, as I expect, Spurs beat them this weekend?
They were pathetic, weren't they?
Well, that's strong language, but I mean, that's the view of all the experts who looked at the game when I saw all the after-match stuff.
You don't have to be an expert to watch that game and realise that one team just wanted it more. After the Barcelona performance, despite the fact they lost, I thought, I tell you what, if Arsenal continue playing like this, they will win the league. Because I thought they, to go toe-to-toe with this Barcelona side as they did for 70 minutes, you thought, right, okay, this is what Arsenal should be all about. You're then taking on an under-20s United side, and you deserve to lose. And in the manner, when Ozil scored that second, you thought, right, this is it. This is going to be the catalyst, the spark to get Arsenal back in this game. They were so flat, so down. If you're an Arsenal fan, you just would feel so frustrated by that. It wasn't a bad refereeing decision. It wasn't that the team played better than you. It was the fact that your players just didn't turn up when they really needed to. And as you say, they got Swansea on Wednesday, and then you've got the North London derby, and there's no reason, looking at the evidence of that game against United, as to why you think Arsenal can get anything from that game at White Hart Lane.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you there.
Now, what about Everton? They're playing tonight. I mean, all the talk, of course, over the weekend is of this new investor who's going to be putting, a couple of £100 million quid into the club. Nobody's quite sure how it's all going to end up, but most Everton fans are pretty happy about it.
Yeah, they will be happy about it, and you can see why. But it's going to be interesting to see the fact that you've got this money in the bank. Can you attract the sort of players that are going to lift you into a Champions League side? Because this summer is just going to be phenomenal with regard to transfer activity because of the new TV deal, because you've got Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, all vying for these sort of players that are going to help them lift them to the next level. And this is where Everton are going to have...
But you don't necessarily need those sort of players anymore after the Leicester experience, after the Spurs experience.
So why are you excited about having money then? Well, if you're an Everton fan.
Well, I tell you why.
If you don't need the money, then...
Yeah. No, you need the money, but I'll tell you why. To start off with, we've wiped out a £40 million debt. Secondly, our prime concern is that we need a new ground, and that can only come with new investment from Mr. Mashiri or anybody else, OK? And thirdly, the money that you're talking about now is not always going to be needed to purchase players, but to retain them on bigger pay, on better salaries, which is exactly what's going to happen at Leicester next season and exactly what's going to happen at Spurs.
But the problem is, you think when Abramovich came in with his money for Chelsea, there was no one else that compete. Now it's a completely different ball game because you're up against 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clubs that can pay the same amount of salaries, you can pay the transfer fees. So just because you've got an investor coming in with lots of money doesn't necessarily guarantee the success that it would, say, a decade ago.
Well, it's better to have money than not, believe me, in this sort of situation.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. Yeah. Dan, thanks very much indeed. We're out of time, unfortunately. We'll be talking a lot more about some of the games coming up a little bit later on tonight. This is Talk Sport. This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics. Coming up in the next hour, Mr. Parry, we're going to be speaking to Jim Jang, who's a professor of global environmental health at Duke University.
Yeah, what's that for?
Because he's going to be telling us about the link between pollution and obesity.
Well,
now, this might not be something you're aware of, but I know you try and cover these things.
Yeah.
Apparently, the more polluted the atmosphere in which you live, the more likely it is that you eat.
Really?
By the way, I'll be asking you about your cottage pie.
Yes.
And your guests as well coming up in the next hour.
Why? What's that got to do with it?
Well, because you made a big thing about the fact that you was making cottage pie.
I didn't at all.
And then you refused to send out a picture of it.
No, I didn't at all. What the position...
You haven't got time to explain it now.
Well, all right, we'll explain it too.
You'll have to explain it in a bit. This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mics. We've got loads coming up, of course, this week. Not least of all, Thursday night, the Porky Quiz.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what that's about in a minute. Where can the dive be spotted?
The dive can be spotted at the Two Mics on Twitter.
Is it not on Two Mics TV?
It isn't at the moment, no.
Right, OK. Is it going to be?
It probably will be.
Oh, I see.
I'm not sure we've got
yeah.
the technology at the moment to put it on there, but I should try and do so.
Now, I'll tell you what
else I might try and do is put it on Facebook, actually.
Put it on Facebook. Good idea. That'd be great.
Well, we've got the Two Mics account as well.
That's good. Now, I'll tell you...
I'll give you an update on the... it's
yes,
58-42 to you.
Right, OK.
Percentage-wise.
That's good. Great,
and what we did say, we missed this at the beginning, in the event of a tie, winners and losers, midnight, 50-50, the winner of this particular vote will get an extra 1%.
That's right. I've got some very strong winners and losers tonight, by the way. Very strong,
really?
Indeed. Now, I'll tell you what I'll tell you about. I'll tell you who's died, George Kennedy. Now,
George Kennedy.
Now, I hope this isn't the curse of Porky, because, of course, what was the quiz on last Thursday night?
It was the Kennedys.
Thank you.
Although he didn't feature.
No, of course he didn't.
Neither did Alan Kennedy.
No, it was Alan Kennedy. No. Or
Ray Kennedy.
Or Ray Kennedy, I was going to say. Ray Kennedy, a man who played for Liverpool and Arsenal.
Yes, that's right.
And then sadly suffered ill health.
Yeah.
But, no, I was going to say...
George Kennedy's one of those guys that if you saw his face, he's been in practically every war movie you've ever seen. Right?
I thought he was a particularly... ugly man, if you see what I mean. I mean,
he
not
was
much
a man.
Talk Ill of the Dead.
He was a man with that sort of rugged face, wasn't he?
Rugged, bloated, constantly overweight. You know what I mean?
Well, I wouldn't
type
say
face
that.
and all that kind of stuff.
Born in 1925, so he had a good innings.
91. He was 91 apparently, which is a good old
that
age,
would be right, wouldn't it? For 1925.
But I remember him mostly for two things. Firstly, he was in one of those Bruce Willis films.
One of the diehards.
Yes.
Was he?
Yeah, he tried to move an aeroplane in the second. You know, the second film where the airport was closed down because of snow and all that kind of stuff.
Die Hard 2.
Yeah, he came on board
with a vengeance or something.
and tried to move a jumbo jet that had come off the runway onto the grass or something.
Yeah.
And I remember him in that. But the one I remember him in, which people maybe won't have as their prominent memory, is in Dallas. In Dallas,
yes, you're right. He was in that.
He played a particularly ruthless and nasty...
was he one of JR's enemies or something like that?
One of JR's enemies. What happened was he turned up and he bought a ranch on the edge of South Fork, right? And it was a ranch that had been built, I think, by Ray Krabs, to house his new bride and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, when Ray, disappears in a haze of alcoholic booze and all this kind of stuff, George Kennedy comes and buys it, but he then dams up the river, which runs onto South Fork. Right. You see what I mean?
Yeah. He was a bit of a cowboy as well.
Yeah.
I'm just looking. I don't mean to interrupt your flow here, but he was in things like Gunsmoke. He was in Bonanza.
Oh, that's right.
He was in Gunslinger. He was in The Outlaws.
Do you know how long ago Gunsmoke was made? That was in the
Kildare.
50s.
Yeah, he was. But you know what else he was in?
No.
Spartacus.
He
played a rebel soldier.
Oh, he wasn't one of those hanging off a cross?
Well, he might have been.
He might have been, yeah.
But he was also in Naked Gun, those kind of humorous police academy type films.
Yeah, it was always difficult for me to sort of marry up somebody in Dallas with somebody in like a funny one.
Well, I would imagine that as much as he probably enjoyed doing Dallas, he wouldn't want to be remembered just for that.
No, but in Dallas, he was in there for a couple of years, and I've forgotten his name now. But he, as usual, he turns up. He's very rich. People just get rich in Dallas just like that. $100 million. For this, that, and the rest, and all that. So he built the dam. The Ewings then came along and blew his dam up.
Right.
And they, started a land war. He had guys with guns, and so did the Ewings and all that. But then he went around doing, much nastier things like marrying women and using them to go...
Marrying women? Shocking.
Yeah, well, no, he married this woman with a specific intention of getting her to go and seduce, some members of the Ewing family and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so sadly, he's passed on.
Yeah.
And these things happen.
Yes, but a marvellous actor, a marvellous contributor to all sorts of things. And, of course, we may talk about the Oscars coming up a little bit later on.
Oh, yeah.
How about this from Mike in Isha, who says, "Hi, fellows." Haven't been addressed like that for a while.
Yeah,
I've been a Spurs fan and have been attending games since 1984.
Right.
Like many other Spurs fans, we are proud of our young team. However, I still believe we will come up short in the league.
Yes.
Essentially because of who we have to play.
Yes.
West Ham away on Wednesday, Arsenal at home at the weekend, and we still have to play Chelsea away, who are improving.
Yeah.
Liverpool and Stoke away. Lord knows whether the potentially good versions of those two teams will turn up. And Manchester United at home.
Yeah.
These games are far from easy.
Well, they're far from easy indeed. Now, we were talking about cars earlier. We were talking about your Land Rover.
Yes.
And, were you Land Rover? Yeah, Land Rover, yeah. And, now then, 5 cars a day caught speeding over 100 miles an hour. More than 5 motorists a day were caught driving over over 100 miles an hour by police forces last year, OK?
Yeah.
That does not surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah.
We've got to raise the speed limit in this country to a minimum of 80 miles an hour. That would improve the economy in this country by one whole percentage point.
That wouldn't mean you wouldn't still be speeding if you're going 100.
Yeah, but the point is, if you go over 100 now, I think you get automatically banned, right?
Well, you say that, but, there are people who have been done at going over 100 and they don't get automatically banned.
Once again, people are going to say that I'm being big-headed, but if you drive a car that's got a 3.5 litre engine, you don't always know how fast you're going.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
That's rubbish.
No, you don't.
You do.
Because, the car's very smooth. It glides over the road. But
that doesn't mean you can't pay attention to the... Why don't you put it on cruise control if you don't want to speed?
I don't like cruise control.
Why not?
Well, because the thing with cruise control is that the machine has overtaken your brain.
In your case, that'd be a good thing.
No, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, it would. Cut out the middleman and make sure that you actually, have the car in the control of the machine.
Now, the one thing I really do feel is wrong is that the fastest recorded speed was 156 miles an hour.
See, that's too fast.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. And believe it or not, that was a footballer called Jordan Slew in a BMW 4 Coupe on the A1M in Cambridgeshire last March, OK?
Yeah.
He was fined £1,400, given a 6-month ban, quite rightly, because that's a dangerously stupid speed.
It is.
But 100 miles an hour, Mike, is not that fast for a modern car.
But again, it depends on the conditions, and unfortunately, the reason why I would be in favour of having, say, a variable speed limit if it was possible to do that, other than, I know they have it on the M25, but yes, if it was a very quiet day and there wasn't anybody else around and no other cars around, then fine, do 100. But unfortunately, there's too many stupid people out there who don't know how to drive properly.
There was one guy who was caught for doing 101 miles an hour in a 40 mile an hour zone, and it resulted in a fatal accident. Yeah. Now, he should go to jail.
Yeah.
A 40 mile an hour zone is a 40 mile an hour zone because it's built up, right? Yeah. But it's on the motorways. Look, because I go down to the coast and back on a regular basis, I sometimes do it at 5:30 in the morning. If I do
what?
The journey.
So, sorry, I thought you meant 100 miles an hour.
No. Well, maybe
you don't
I
want
do.
to admit to doing that.
No. What I'm saying is, if I'm returning from the coast at 5:30 in the morning on a Sunday morning, there's not another single car on the road. Yeah. It's a 3-lane wide road. Uh-huh. It's a British road, so it's well built. My car...
Are you having a laugh?
No, they are, honestly.
Have you seen the state of the roads around here?
Well, I agree with that. The car itself is a magnificent piece of engineering.
It wasn't built by the British either, by the way.
3.5 litre car with fantastic braking systems and all that kind of stuff.
That's not the point.
I just cannot tolerate driving at 70 miles an hour. It's not right.
Well, you're wrong, because that is the law, and that is what you have to abide by.
It's a bad law. Should change the law.
I'll tell you what I saw when in my trip to Beachy Head at the weekend.
Yes.
Pulled into the National Trust car park.
Where the chaplain was?
Not where the chaplain was. He was up by the lay-by.
Oh, OK.
This is down towards, because there's a bit of the beach you can go down on, which is by Seven Sisters, which are the other cliffs.
Do you see people wandering around looking, rather odd and frightened and all that kind of stuff?
No, not at all. I'd imagine that if you were going to do something terrible, you wouldn't do it during the middle of a Saturday afternoon.
People will.
Well,
people, I'm afraid, who have compulsions to do that sort of thing are not really rational.
Well, no. But anyway, went into the car park at this National Trust place where you can pop in for tea. It was very cold. It was bitterly cold.
Yes.
Saw two of the most amazing cars that I've ever seen.
Really?
One was, and it was only because my son spotted it and told me what it was.
Right.
Ferrari 458 Spider.
Wow.
Now, you're talking about a car that you want to get, right? And Aston Martin.
Yeah.
458 Spider. I looked it up later on. Cost $250,000.
Good God.
Right?
Yeah.
Goes from 0 to 124 in 8 seconds.
But who would want that?
I don't know.
And who would need that?
I don't know.
That's what I don't
I don't know. But it was a beautiful looking car.
I couldn't really care.
And there was also an Audi R8 there, which was rather nice as well.
Yeah, they are
but except it was orange, which kind of put me off. The Ferrari was black. You always said you have to have a Ferrari in red.
Yes.
It was a sort of a gunmetal grey.
Right.
And it looked very good.
Really?
I have to say.
I couldn't care less about how fast a car can accelerate from the lights, because that's the best way of having an accident.
But I mean, most cars don't get to 1 to 60 in 8 seconds. This car goes to 124 in 8 seconds.
Yeah, well,
I'll tell you what else we found. Oh, actually, we're out of time.
Yeah.
I can't tell you anymore.
Yeah, well,
hang on to that thought.
That's a relief.
I want to tell you about East Dean.
Oh.
Do you know anything about East Dean?
No, but I'm sure that you're going to tell me.
You're going to find out. This is Talk Sport.
Roll up, ladies and gentlemen, and prepare to be amazed and astounded by Colin Murray's Carnival of Curiosities, featuring a feast of fascinating facts and a farrago of fiendish falsehoods to untangle from the tantalising truths as Mr. Murray delights and astonishes you with his assortment of amicable acquaintances. Don't miss Fact or Fiction every Thursday morning from 10 on Talk Sport with Regain for Men Extra Strength Scalp Foam, scientifically proven to help stop and even reverse hereditary hair loss. Contains minoxidil. Always read the label.
Time for a new 16-plate van. Time for a Mercedes-Benz Citan, Vito or Sprinter. How about 0% APR and a service plan for just £10 a month across the whole model range? There's never been a better time than this March to drive away with a new 16-plate Mercedes-Benz van. Clock's ticking. Find out more at mbvans.co.uk. Business users only. Hire purchase only. Maximum term 36 months. Minimum deposit 20%. VAT at 20% applies. Credit approvals by 31st of March 2016. Mercedes-Benz Finance.
Employers across the UK, however small the business, will soon have to offer a workplace pension. Don't ignore the workplace pension. It's the law. Visit workplacepensions.gov.uk.
An attack has decimated the British capital.
What do you want?
London descending into chaos.
This Thursday, London will fall and a hero will rise.
Stay with me. We'll get you out of here.
Gerard Butler, Aaron Eckhart, and Morgan Freeman.
Get down!
Don't miss the sequel to Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh my God.
London Has Fallen in cinemas Thursday. Rated 15.
Bienvenue au weekend sports breakfast avec Michelle Quinn and Georgie Bingham.
Hey! Oh, really, Mickey?
Every Saturday and Sunday morning from 7 on Talk Sport with Renault Pro Plus centres. It's the breakfast show that cooks up a souffle of sport and a pan of chocolat of pre-match build-up.
There's no need to milk it, Mickey.
The hors d'oeuvre to another big weekend feast of foot. The Weekend Sports Breakfast on Talk Sport with Renault Pro Plus centres. Dedicated experts who'll keep you moving. Fantastic.
Hawksby and Jacobs.
Their socks rolled down, no shin pads, full beards.
This afternoon from 1.
You're laughing already. You're laughing already.
Talk.
I think it's going to go for about £10,000 at auction.
Yeah.
And it was that one, Till There Was You. Now, Till There Was You wasn't actually a Beatles song. It was, I've looked this up to be honest, it was attributed to Paul McCartney and the Beatles.
Yeah.
That's what Brian Epstein wrote on the cover because he was going down to, it was the famous time when they went down to Decca and they pressed this song and they failed the interview.
Oh, right.
Remember the audition?
Yes.
You know, and they failed the audition because the guys at Decca said no, you know.
It sounds like it should have been on Please Please Me.
Guitar,
but
yeah,
it wasn't,
that's
was
right.
it?
Guitar groups.
I don't think it was.
No, it was. It came from.
What was their first album then?
No, it wasn't on the album. It was what I was going to say to you was that they did it. It came from the musical, The Music Man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I mean, as a
1957.
but as a Beatles recording, it must have been on one of their albums. Surely.
I think it was on with the Beatles.
With the Beatles.
Yeah, because
was that their first?
Well, you know that was the one where they show half of their face in shadow on the front cover.
Yeah.
And it,
so Please Please Me was the first.
Please Please Me was the first.
Yeah.
I think With the Beatles was the second.
Because I've got that and it's not on there.
So on what?
On Please Please
No,
Me.
I think it was on With the Beatles. I think if you look on there, Till There Was You.
All right.
And Hello
So
Little
you're going
Girl.
to make a bid for it then?
No, I don't think so because I'm not into ancient memorabilia like that. You know what I mean?
Well, you are. You've got all sorts of old programmes from the 1940s.
Yeah, but that's football. I mean,
well, it's still ancient memorabilia.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is that I didn't like a lot of the very early Beatles stuff because I thought it sounded so.
I love that stuff actually.
You know, so sort of. Basic, I suppose, really is the word. Like Love, Love Me Do, you know, it's a very basic song.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, that was the beauty of it.
Not a day goes by, does it, without something about the Beatles coming into your life. You know, they've been with us forever, they'll be with us forever, I'm sure.
But certainly on this show, you know, not a minute goes by without you mentioning them.
Well, no, you have to, because they're part of the culture of the modern culture of the world.
Yeah.
They changed the world. They literally changed the world.
Yeah, all right. That's enough about the Beatles. How about this from Jeff?
Yeah, go on.
I think you might be getting mixed up, Porky.
Yeah.
George Kennedy moved a snowbound 747 in Airport 70.
Oh, really?
Not Die Hard.
Oh, all right. Well,
I think he
thanks
got
for
an
that.
Oscar nomination for playing Dragline in Cool Hand Luke. He was in Cool Hand Luke, that's true. Remember Cool Hand Luke? Paul Newman film.
Paul Newman was jailed, or he's a prisoner.
Yeah, he was in a sort of chain gang.
In a chain gang, and he all the eggs, didn't he?
You must remember the egg-eating
yes,
scene.
That's
yeah,
right.
The boiled eggs,
Yeah. No, I remember that, yeah. OK, so it was Airport, and it wasn't...
Well, certainly looking down his various credits, I don't see anything for... he was in The Boston Strangler. He was in Guns of the Magnificent Seven, Airport, 1969, actually.
He was in a lot of them.
He was in, let's see, what else? Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, Airport 75, The Eiger Sanction, that was a good film.
The Eiger Sanction,
yeah,
that was Clint Eastwood.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Airport 77, he was in Death on the Nile.
Death on the Nile.
Concorde, Airport 79, he liked those.
Blimey, he had quite a few credits then, didn't he?
He was incredible, yeah.
Sounds like he was busy.
Delta Force,
I tell you one bloke I did become aware of over the weekend, a guy called Tom Mcllan.
Tom Mcllan.
Did you? I'm not sure.
Tom Mcllan.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many pictures how many newspapers you read over the weekend, but you see a picture of a guy with a metal whale.
A metal whale?
Yeah.
No.
This guy's built a metal whale, which is called Moby.
Oh, yeah.
It's cost him £100,000. Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's cost him £100,000. It's a 75-foot vessel, and he's going to sail it across the Atlantic.
I think I did see that picture, yeah.
And he built it on
Why?
Well, I'm telling you right now. He built it on the shores of Loch Nevis.
Loch Nevis?
Now, do you know where Loch Nevis is?
Well, I presume it's near Ben Nevis.
Well, yeah, I suppose it is, yeah. Anyway, this guy runs an outward bound centre in a place which is so remote you can only get there by boat or by hiking 7 miles over a moor. There's no roads to it. Now, the reason
in that part of the world, presumably, up by Fort William, that is, isn't it? Ben Nevis.
Yeah, I suppose it is, yeah. I suppose you're right.
Have you never been there?
Well, what I was going to tell you was, the reason I'm telling you all this is this guy's name is Tom Mcllan.
Yeah.
He's a former paratrooper and SAS soldier. He's been building this boat for 20 years, but I know him very well because I've told you the story before about running up and down the coast of Portugal trying to find this guy who was sailing single-handedly across the Atlantic.
Is that him?
That's Tom Mcllan.
Same guy?
It's the same guy.
And did he not miss by some thousands of miles?
Well, it wasn't really his fault. I don't want to be cruel to the guy. He's an incredible man because he did literally get in a boat about the size of, I don't know, a large canoe, and he came across the Atlantic.
Right.
And the winds caught him, and instead of hitting Cornwall or the Scilly Isles where he's supposed to land, he just drifted south.
He ended up in Portugal,
and he ended up on the Portuguese coast. And we could never find out if he was coming into Porto or coming into Lisboa, Lisbon.
And did you ever find him?
Oh, yeah, we found him in the end. Yeah, we found him in the end because we had to hire a fishing boat and go out and rescue him.
Okay.
And all this kind of stuff.
Tow him back in?
Yeah, sort of thing, yeah. But the thing is...
we should get him on then.
If you can find him, I mean, this guy is he's...
Well, he can't be that hard to find. He's in a bloody great giant whale.
Well, he's not. The whale hasn't been launched yet, but it's... there's a picture of his whale. Look,
whale meat again.
He's built it like a whale and all that kind of stuff. Now, the point is...
Is that seaworthy, then?
Well, it's a good debate.
He's not young, is he?
He's 73. But the thing is, in the days when we were trying to find out where he was across the Atlantic, which must have been in the early 80s, right... He had just come out the SAS, and he had a wife called Jill. He was a Yorkshire girl. My name's Jill. Hello, how are you? And we took her to Portugal for the big reunion. When he landed, here's your wife and your little boy.
Okay.
He's got 2 sons in their 30s, so one of them was the little boy.
Well, it says he's got a bunk for 10 people.
Yeah,
in that
no, yeah.
So is he going? He's not going on his own then.
Well, who knows? I don't know. He's an adventurer. Yeah. But anyway, so we get hold of Jill and we fly out to Portugal, and the little boy was a nuisance. He kept throwing up all over me.
A nuisance?
Yes, which wasn't
well,
very
that's nice, isn't it?
Well,
what do you mean a nuisance? I mean, you're supposed to be, taking the family, showing them the sights, looking after them.
Sure.
Had you brought them up or something?
Yeah, we'd bought him up, yeah, and
you can't say he was a nuisance.
Well, the point is, his wife Jill, she was about 20 years younger than him. You see, nice girl, nice Yorkshire girl, but she'd never been abroad before, and so she had this hairdryer with her and realised that the plug didn't fit, and so she goes into a shop and says to this guy, I remember to this day, hello, love, and she takes in the hairdryer and says, I need a plug for my hairdryer.
Right.
And the bloke's looking at her blankly. And she says, hairdryer plug. All right.
She should have said hot hairdryer plug, I suppose. You might know what she's talking about.
When she still got looking blank, she turned and I said, these people are so bloody thick round here, and walked out of the shop.
That's terrible, isn't it?
It's a shocking thing to say.
Shocking.
But anyway, eventually we found old Tom, and he came ashore, and we took him in a hotel and bought him a big dinner and all that kind of stuff. And he told the amazing stories about his days in the SAS. I think I might have told you this before. In the Brecon Beacons, they told him to lie in... you know the old song, The Indians Send Signals from the Rock Above the Pass?
Oh, yeah.
He was told to cover this pass where there was
Cool
going to
for
be...
cats.
Cool for cats, yeah. There was going to be an army convoy coming through.
Yeah.
And what he had to do is he had one of these guns that shot like red lights, you know what I mean? Sort of
Red lights?
Well, you know what I mean.
A red light gun?
Yeah, that's right.
So we take the red light district?
No, you know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean.
Well, what do you mean
It's
is...
a red light gun. Do you mean it had a beam?
Yeah, a beam. And
so you fire the beam at your target?
Yeah, the convoy that was coming through, with your gun, your beam would indicate whether you'd hit the target or not. You see what I mean?
Oh, I thought the beam was to guide your sort of line of sight.
No, it wasn't that sophisticated in those days. Anyway...
Because I remember there was a time when cameras had that.
That's right, yeah, exactly.
And the paparazzi used to have them.
That's right,
and you'd fire this red beam at someone.
That's right.
And they'd always freak out in a restaurant.
And they'd get it, yeah. But anyway, point of the story very quickly is that he was told to lie in wait above the pass, and when the convoy came through, he'd get it. And he said, how long got to wait? He said, well, that's up to you, but the convoy's coming, you know?
Yeah.
And this was his final test to get into the SAS.
Yeah.
Anyway, they left him there for 3.5 weeks. No food, right? No food, no water.
He was trained to kill whatever he could find.
Exactly, but he mustn't miss the convoy coming through. How did he do that?
Right.
Anyway, on the 24th night, the convoy came through and he picked every one of the vehicles off.
Right.
And that's how he got in the SAS.
Yeah.
He was a clever guy.
Fantastic.
Well, no, I tell you what, there's nothing behind his eyes. Nothing at all.
What, you mean dead?
Oh, I was frightened he was going to kill me if I asked him the wrong question.
Well, especially if you'd known what you thought about his child.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
You know,
it could have been.
Lucky you didn't refer to him as he's a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah,
he might not be here today.
That's true.
Now, we've got lots more. I still haven't told you about East Dean yet, which I'm going to have to wait now because coming up next we're going to talk to Jim Jang, Professor of Global Environmental Health at the Duke Global Health Institute.
Excellent.
And he's going to tell us about pollution and obesity. This is TalkSport.
Are you gonna take me home tonight? Oh, down beside that red firelight. Oh, you gonna let it all hang out? Fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round.
This is TalkSport. We are the two mics. Loads more coming up. We have yet to discuss East Dean. We have yet to find out what the Porky quiz is going to be on later on this week, of course. Right now, though, as ever, we bring you the frontline sort of medical and scientific stories. And we're going to be talking to Jim Jang, Professor of Global Environmental Health at Duke Global Health Institute and the Nicholas School of the Environment. And also Kunshan University, because there's a story out there, Mr. Parry, that says if you live in a city and you inhale an awful lot of pollution, there's a pretty good chance that you'll be larger and fatter than people who live outside of the city. So let's find out from Jim what he means by that. Jim, a very good morning to you.
Hi, sure. Well, it's 9:30 p.m. here. I'm in Durham.
You're in Durham, in North Carolina. Yeah. Now, tell us about this theory about pollution and its link to obesity.
Sure. Now, the study we have published that I have to say that was from rats studies, not human directly.
Rats, right?
Humans, because it's easier to study rats because we can control diet,
right?
Control genetics, everything. So the two group rats that live in two chambers next to each other. One is the real Beijing dirty air. The other one is the same air but filtered out the particles, which are the major components of the air pollution mixture. And then those rats live in two chambers, and the pregnant rats live there for 19 days, or 14 days, or 19 days. They were heavier if they lived in the unfiltered chamber.
Right.
And then their offspring, the rat pups, lived in the same chamber where the mother lived, and at 8 weeks old, the ones lived in the unfiltered chamber also got heavier. how were their how did they get heavier?
Presumably they ate more than the others, right?
Well, we actually didn't measure the amount of diet they ate, but we find the two major things happened. One is the entire body, from major organs like a lung, like liver, like heart. They all get heavier. They're in the medical term, there is a term called inflammation. Yeah. We find inflammation in entire body of this rat who lived in dirty air.
That's amazing. Can I just ask you there, Jim, because this is a fascinating subject, but if your theories are correct, does it mean that the very presence of Oriental people in the world will mean they're all going to get fat in China, because most Chinese cities now have huge smog problems, particularly in Beijing and Shanghai and places like that. And if people suffering smog problems are getting obese and fat, then China's going to be the fattest nation in the world, isn't it?
Well, in theory that works. That could happen, but again, how people get fat is determined by many factors. So we still have to say that diet and the physical activity, those are the major factors that really determine the obesity or the body weight. So those things has to take into account. I honestly, I think those are more important than anything else. But let's see, if you kept everything the same, if you worked very hard to control your diet, you worked very hard to increase your physical activity so you don't get, the calories that accumulate in your body. Yeah. But then you have this pollution. This pollution going to go to do exactly what the fat diet and what the
what do you think is if the pollution is causing? If you assume that the pollution is causing obesity or for the rats to become heavier, and it's not necessarily due to their intake of calories, then what is it due to?
Yeah, that would, because we control their diet. They have the same diet. We didn't give them a fat diet. Now, whether they ate a little bit more or not, we really didn't monitor in this study. But
what's causing them to be heavier then?
Well, the ones I said is whole body inflammation. The other one I think is more alarming is the metabolic disruption, metabolic function. So we did find that, we all know bad cholesterol, right? And the bad cholesterol levels in those rats got higher. And also we find the triglyceride, the fat in the blood, it got higher. And also that we measured the sugar metabolism. There was an indicator of capability of rats to break it down sugar. That's got slower. So those are the biological mechanisms that explains why those rats get fatter.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it's fascinating. That's fascinating, absolutely, Jim. Jim, will this lead to a cure for cancer? And that's a very serious question, because all this research is ultimately aimed, isn't it, at making us all live longer?
Well, unfortunately, the inflammation, all those things that I talked about, which explains the weight gain, also related to cancer processes as well. Yeah. So it's basically, let's put it this way, the pollutants, the stuff that in the air, which really messed up with our whole body. The process, those things go, affect our normal cell function, our normal physiological function. You just got to a point that increased the risk for type 2 diabetes, because we did find those rats are less capable to break down sugar molecules. Right. You got sugar accumulating in the body, and that's how you're going to develop a type 2 diabetes. And now they got fatter because they won't be able to get rid of fat fast enough.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it sounds dreadful.
Listen, Jim, Professor, thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
What are you making those weird noises for?
Sorry?
What are you making those weird noises for?
I was agreeing with Jim.
Oh, I thought you were being very rude.
No, I'm not
Poor old Jim was trying to explain the business with the rats there. Yeah, although I think I've spotted a flaw in his theory.
Yes.
They didn't measure how much food the rats were actually eating.
Well, to be honest, I'm very grateful to Professor Professor Jang for coming on.
Yeah.
Because it's helpful to know these things.
Yeah,
but
it is.
I didn't understand a word of what he said.
Really?
Not a word.
Well, would you like me to paraphrase it for you?
No, not really.
So
I
I can make it simpler.
it's
what
not-
he's basically saying
Yeah.
is that if you live in a polluted atmosphere,
Yes.
more than likely your body's metabolism will slow down to a point where you can no longer digest and use the calories that are coming into your body.
So then when I said to
therefore,
him-
you would tend to put more weight on
Right.
in that one sense.
Yeah.
And in the other sense, he said that there was a certain amount of organ sort of enlargement which would happen because basically, you know, the polluted air was not allowing your body to operate in a normal fashion.
So then when I
you know,
put to him...
in a nutshell, that's it.
Well, yes, except it's not, because when I then put to him, the most obvious conclusion must be that all people in China are now going to get fat.
Not at all.
Because all the most polluted cities in the world are in China, where people walk around in Shanghai with smog masks on. He then said... Oh, well, we have to examine exactly the reasons why people become obese. So he was knocking down his own theory.
No, he wasn't, no.
He didn't, you know, in the end, it didn't all add up, man. I'm telling you. And when I asked him about a cure for cancer, which, of course, is an extremely vital part of any medical research in science as to pollution and obesity put together, that could be a cause of cancer, he didn't seem to know where to go.
Well,
he didn't seem to know where to go.
It was an idiotic question,
No,
to be
it
honest.
wasn't an idiotic question.
Completely
It was a
stupid
very
question.
good... No, it wasn't. You didn't ask him any decent questions.
I did, actually.
You
Well,
didn't.
I understood what he was talking about.
You didn't understand
that's
it
why I've been
any
able
more
to
than I did.
That's why I've been able to paraphrase
Sorry,
it.
what was your killer question then?
My killer question?
Yeah, what was your killer question to Professor Jang?
We're not involved in some kind of Guantanamo Bay scenario here. It's
Well, I am.
a killer question.
Yeah, you know what I mean. What I mean is, what was the most pertinent question? You actually didn't even bother asking one.
The most pertinent question I asked him...
Your eyes were rolling. Your eyes were glazed.
The most pertinent question I asked him, if you'd be quiet for a moment...
Your brain was dislocated.
Was exactly what was the cause of these rats putting on extra weight.
And who cares about rats?
Which he then answered the question
People don't care about rats. Rats are called rats because they're rats. And, you know, people don't like...
and why are cats called cats?
No, you know what I'm talking about.
Why? Tell me.
Cats do have an affectionate side for some people. Nobody that I know...
Some people have pet rats.
Yeah, very, very few.
Yeah, they do.
Very, very few.
Of course they do.
Very few indeed.
Anyway, coming up, I'm going to tell you about the place I went at the weekend. This is Talk
really?
Sport.
Time for a new 16-plate van. Time for a Mercedes-Benz Citan, Vito or Sprinter. How about 0% APR and a service plan for just £10 a month across the whole model range? There's never been a better time than this March to drive away with a new 16-plate Mercedes-Benz van. Clock's ticking. Find out more at mbvans.co.uk. Business users only. Hire purchase only. Maximum term 36 months. Minimum deposit 20%. VAT at 20% applies. Credit approvals by 31st of March 2016. Mercedes-Benz Finance.
What do you think?
Oh, that's lovely on you, Jack.
Oh, yeah, it really suits you, Dad.
It's not too much?
No, it's lovely. It's really you.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, it's a fixed rate tariff too.
I'm betting the other one.
Oh, yeah, that's dead nice.
You shop around for clothes, so why not for energy deals? Switching energy suppliers could save you up to £200. And with our independent guide and links to Ofgem approved comparison sites, it's never been easier. Visit goenergyshopping.co.uk.
Would the Detroiters Just keep still.
From the Coen brothers, directors of Fargo, The Big Lebowski, and No Country for Old Men, comes the most epic comedy of the year.
Ed Whitlock has been kidnapped. We need you all to look for him.
It's glorious, dazzling, and outrageously funny.
But seriously.
Featuring an all-star cast, Josh Brolin, George Clooney, Ralph Fiennes, Jonah Hill, Scarlett Johansson, and Channing Tatum.
You sure he's the father?
Yes. Pretty sure.
Hail Caesar, in cinemas Friday.
Make sure you're ahead of the game and listen to Kick-Off on Talk Sport with 888 Sport. Bet you can. Tonight from 7, get in-depth analysis, heavyweight pundit opinion, and outspoken fan reaction on the nation's most passionate pre-match football forum.
You won't miss a trick, flick, or kick of any of the action.
Plus, hear the latest form and odds ahead of all the matches that matter from 888 Sport's On The Ball Bet Spurt. Kick-Off, weeknights from 7 on Talk Sport with 888 Sport. Bet you can. Please gamble responsibly.
For the perfect match.
Embrace the power within.
It's not a wind-up.
Talk Sport.
You get a fast car. I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics coming up. It's winners and losers in the next hour. Recognise that voice?
That voice?
Yeah.
That was... this is a balladeer.
A balladeer?
A balladeer.
This is a balladeer?
Yeah.
Right. Any ideas on the name?
Let me just think. That's somebody like... although it's not. It's somebody like Neil Diamond. But it's not Neil Diamond, if you see what I mean. You know what I mean?
It definitely isn't Neil Diamond.
No.
There's nobody like Neil Diamond.
Okay, who's it then?
It's Tracy Chapman.
That sounds like a woman's name.
It is a woman's name.
That's not a woman.
It is a woman.
That wasn't a woman.
Yes, it was.
No,
I've seen Tracy Chapman. I saw her in concert in New York, actually.
No, that's a man's voice.
It's a woman.
No, rubbish.
Tracy Chapman.
I don't believe you.
Called Fast Car.
No, it's nonsense.
It is.
You've got your head all over the
No,
place.
my head is not all over the place.
I
Tracy
think it
Chapman is definitely a woman. Now, let me tell you about East Dean.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to East Dean?
No.
It's around the corner from Beachy Head. There's a very nice pub there.
Right.
Called the Tiger Inn.
Oh, yes.
It's fantastic.
Yes.
And they let dogs in.
Yes.
And they have very nice food and all the rest of it.
Yes.
Anyway, there's a little square. It's quite an old town and a village.
Sorry, is East Dean a place?
It's a village, yeah.
Right, okay, yeah.
What do you mean, is it a place? What do you think it is?
Well, I don't know. It sounds like a priory or something to me, you know, rather than
a priory.
Than a town.
What do you mean a priory?
Well, you know, like a...
What do you mean, like the dried out clinic?
No, you idiot. Like an old sort of, you know, monk's priory from the Middle Ages or something like that.
But all the houses in the village are actually built with flint.
Flint?
Bizarrely.
Okay.
But there was a blue plaque, right?
Yes.
And we were talking about blue plaques last week.
That's right, yeah.
Funnily enough, because actually we have to talk about the fact that some guy... made a pilgrimage to your... After we revealed last week, or it was revealed, that your childhood home is up for sale.
Yes.
This guy actually went and checked it out.
He's not the only one.
Really?
He's not the only one.
So, I mean, has it caused a bit of a sort of a stramash in the street?
Well, it's a cul-de-sac, and people are now starting to wander up to have a look at the house where I was born and brought up for the first 18 years of my life,
right?
Which is quite amazing.
They
really.
want to have a look at that sort of coffin-looking thing in your bedroom. Looks like a coffin.
What's that?
It's the thing that if you look on the estate agent's, interior of the house.
Well, I never put it there. I don't know what that is.
Well, it looks like a coffin, though.
Well, what is it?
Well, just some kind of a chest or other.
Oh, is it?
Because obviously they thought it was too small to actually put a human in.
Oh,
so they didn't put anybody living in there.
Oh,
Anyway,
so
I saw this blue plaque, right?
Yes.
So I said to the kids, go and run over there and tell me what it says on the blue plaque.
Yes.
It was on the other side of the village green.
Yes.
And they came back.
Don't get knocked over crossing the road.
No, there was no cars there.
Oh, right. Okay.
It was beautiful. I mean, it's very quiet.
Yes,
really gorgeous place.
Yeah.
And guess who it was the plaque was referring to?
Dedicated to?
Yeah.
I couldn't guess. Go on, tell me.
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes?
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, what did he do there?
Apparently that's where he retired. As I later found out. Because I went, well, hang on a second. How can you have a plaque for Sherlock Holmes?
He's a mythical person.
Well, he's not a mythical person.
He is.
No, he's a fictional person.
Yeah,
You've
well,
made this mistake before.
How
is it the same thing?
Because if you're fictional, you're mythical.
No, you're not.
Yeah, sure.
No, if being fictional just means that you're a figment of somebody's imagination,
well,
your character.
Exactly.
If you're mythical, that's something else.
Yeah, well, anyway, go on, yeah.
Like the three-headed dog that guards Hades.
Yeah,
that's a mythical character.
Yeah. Well,
Sherlock Holmes only had one head.
Yeah, okay. So how can you have a plaque to somebody who didn't exist then?
Well, that's what I want to know.
No.
I thought you'd have the answer for me.
No, I don't know the answer to that one, no.
I mean, there is a plaque in Baker Street.
Yeah, there is.
Where, Sherlock Holmes supposedly lived in London.
Well, that was because the address that was given for Sherlock Holmes in the books written by, what's his name,
Arthur Conan Doyle.
Arthur Conan Doyle. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, yeah. So you could see a plaque to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
No, but it wasn't.
One of the most famous characters in literature.
No, but the plaque in Baker Street is to Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, but refers to the fact that he lived there according to, if you read the plaques,
Arthur
Conan Doyle.
But the point is, he didn't live there, did he?
No.
But there's a plaque there, even though he didn't live there.
It's all very odd, that.
Well, I thought you'd have the answer for me.
Well, how would I have the answer to that? I didn't even know there was a plaque.
Well, you think you got the answer to everything else?
No, I've got the answer to a lot of things in life, but I can't just suddenly be hit with facts like that, crazy facts like that. And
I just wonder if there's a lot of that. I mean, are there, for example, plaques which say, Heathcliff lived here?
Well, I don't know. I mean, do you think...
Well, why don't you know?
Well, because I'm just going to ask you the question. Do you think they'll put a plaque up outside my old house in Chester?
No.
To say, well, I think they might.
A plank, as somebody suggested earlier.
No. I honestly think they might. Talking about, by the way, you've been around in the country at the weekend and all that kind of stuff. When did your boys, because you have two young lads, you know...
three, actually.
Yes, I know, but two young lads who in this country. When did they last see a hedgehog? Because there's 10% less hedgehogs around this year than there were last year.
The last time
and there's going to be 10% less next year as well.
The last time we saw a hedgehog was about, I would say, 3 years ago or so.
That's amazing.
In another house where they lived, and a hedgehog came. So I was outside having a cigarette, actually.
Right.
And I noticed something moving out the corner of my eye. I wasn't sure what it was, and I turned around and
there
was
a fox or something.
And there was a hedgehog and a fox are slightly different size.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And I just sort of turned, and there it was.
Yeah.
And we put some food out for it.
Yeah.
Some ham, actually.
Some milk.
Didn't put any milk out.
Okay.
No. Put some ham out for it, which turned out to be a bad idea because it didn't eat the ham.
No.
Instead, some slugs came out to eat the ham.
Ugh. Right, the number of people who saw hedgehogs in their garden last year fell by 10%, providing more evidence of their decline. Fewer than a third of Britons spotted one in their garden last year.
Hey?
Fewer than a third of Britons spotted one in their garden last year.
Yeah.
And for most, that was a rare sight. Only 29% of people surveyed had seen a hedgehog. And that's down from 32% in 2014.
When was the last time you saw a hedgehog?
I don't think I've ever seen one.
Never?
Well, not since I was a kid.
Really?
No, not so. My mate, whose dad had a garage and they had a house built on the edge of the sort of, the forecourt, something like that, and backed onto fields. He used to have hedgehogs there, but I haven't seen a hedgehog for 50 years.
Really?
Yeah, definitely not.
50 years?
Yeah. Definitely not.
Blimey.
Yeah. Last time I saw a hedgehog, honestly, it was about 6 or 7 or something. It says the hedgehog has suffered long-term declines with the UK population thought to have fallen by 30% since 2003.
Oh, yeah.
There are now less than 1 million hedgehogs in Britain.
Yeah.
In 1957...
Where was it they would kind of do that? Was it not in Scotland a few years ago? I think I might have been still living there at the time. They operated some kind of hedgehog cull.
Well, I don't know.
Because it was on one of the islands. It might have been Mull or something like that.
Yeah.
Because apparently the problem was there were all these sea birds who had basically put their eggs onto this island.
Right.
And the hedgehogs were going around eating them all.
Oh, dear.
So they decided to gas all the hedgehogs.
That's terrible. It says in 1957 there were 36.
You're not interested in that, are you?
Yeah, I am.
No, you're not. I can tell by your reaction.
No,
you just dismissed it.
I'm giving you a fact to back up your point. In 1957 there were 36 million hedgehogs in this country.
And now there's only 1 million.
There's only 1 million.
Well, that has a lot to do with the urbanisation of the countryside.
Well, I suppose it does.
And you're always talking about building more roads and building more runways.
You've got to,
well, that's why there's only 1 million hedgehogs.
Well, the hedgehogs aren't important, to be honest. I mean,
of course they're important. They're part of the ecosystem.
They're not really.
Well, what do you think they do?
Eat slugs.
Well, they do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
The reason for every single species, you're supposed to be an animal lover,
yes,
is that they all play a part in their various different roles in the ecosystem.
I'm not sure about that.
If you take away... I mean, one of the reasons the mosquito problem is supposed to be so bad in certain parts of the world is because they're kind of, the creatures that eat the mosquitoes have started to dwindle, and therefore the mosquitoes are thriving in a way which is impossible to control.
What sort of creatures eat mosquitoes, then?
Eh?
What sort of creatures eat mosquitoes?
Well, you get frogs, certain types of birds, certain types of rodents. I mean, all kinds of things eat mosquitoes.
Do you know another 50,000 badgers will be shot this year? Did you know that?
No.
No, it is. It's true.
It's just the way you said it. It's like you're going to line them up.
No.
There's some kind of firing squad. The badger firing squad.
No, the culling is going on.
I thought they gassed them. I think they shot them.
No. 3,961 badgers have been killed in the past 3 years during culls in Somerset, Gloucestershire and Dorset. Now they're preparing to extend that from counties from Cornwall to Cheshire.
Really?
Okay? And it's all to do...
but I thought it wasn't working.
Well, Liz Truss is the Environment Secretary. Yeah. And she says the widespread killing of badgers is essential to meet the government's pledge to eradicate bovine TB.
I don't know what they're talking about.
Bovine TB.
TV?
TB.
Oh, I thought it was a new channel you found.
No. Bovine TB has resulted in 280,000 cat... What are you laughing at? 280,000...
Bovine TV.
280,000 cattle being culled since 2008. I mean, it's horrendous.
Well, have they eradicated bovine TV yet?
No, they haven't.
Well, so it's not working then, is it?
Well, they've got to kill more badgers and then it will. But you see...
Well, no, it won't.
People like Brian May will be up in arms about this.
Well, yeah, exactly, because there is now a difference of opinion as to whether or not, one, they're spreading it, and two, by killing them, that's actually going to make any difference.
Well, you're absolutely right in one way. Dominic Dyer, Chief Exec of the Badger Trust, said the expansion of culling could wipe out a significant proportion of England's badgers. Hundreds of thousands of badgers could be killed.
Well, of course it will. That's what a cull's about, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, it's hardly, Brain of Britain stuff, that, is it?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, if you kill a lot of badgers, it could wipe them out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
What do you think he's going to do?
Should we protect A, badgers, or B, cows? I would say cows are more important to our life than badgers. No, badgers are just called...
Why does it have to be one or the other?
Well, because one of them, the badger,
it's like Sophie's Choice, this, isn't it?
Is allegedly killing the cows. I mean, we only like badgers because they're called sprock. And they have a...
They're called what?
They're called sprock, aren't they?
Sprock?
Yeah, all badgers are called sprock.
I've never heard that.
And that's because they have a black streak down the middle of their head.
Well, who's Sprock?
Sprock is like a famous badger.
Sprock?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No, I'm serious.
I've
yeah.
never heard of Sprock.
Everybody knows that badgers are called Sprock.
Anything to do with Leonard Nimoy?
No, you idiot. That was Spock, wasn't it? You know. But Sprock was a famous badger in a famous piece of literature.
Really?
Yeah.
What piece of literature?
I don't know.
Right,
But it is famous.
Try and check it out.
Yeah, it's very
It
famous.
was a song by Tracy Chapman.
No.
This is
famous.
Talk Sprock.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Talk Sport.
Sherlock theme, that they're on the ball tonight.
Yeah,
that's
good.
Class.
That's good.
Now,
Like that.
apparently, the Urban Dictionary definition of Sprock is a genre of music consisting of a mix between soul, pop, and rock.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you got Sprock from.
No, everybody knows badgers are called Mr. Sprock.
Mr. Sprock.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I've got a text here from Dennis in Belfast.
Yes.
Who says it's Brock.
Brock. Oh,
Yeah.
Brock. Yeah, it could be Brock.
Brock.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Could be Brock. What does that mean?
Apparently, it's the Irish word for badger.
Oh, well, there you go. See, so we're nearly there.
It's got nothing to do with Sprock.
No, it's
Where do you
Brock.
get Sprock from?
Oh, I don't know. But
Brock is also a character in the fictional world of Pokemon. He usually travels with Ash.
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that.
And the Brocks are a family
Yeah.
of some kind or other. I think you've got this all round your ears.
No, I haven't. I knew that there was, an affectionate name for them. I thought it was Brock, but it's Brock, so that's fine.
Yeah, all right. Now,
Okay.
coming up in the next hour, we've got winners and losers, of course.
Yep.
We're going to be talking about the Porky quiz and what it should be on. We'll be also having a look at a couple of stories in the papers I'm going to discuss with you as well. And some of the other things that happened at the weekend that we haven't yet resolved. This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mikes. Go to the Two Mikes Twitter page where you will find at the moment the voting is as follows. 383 votes, 55% to 45% in your favour.
Well,
Unbelievably.
There you go.
Unbelievably.
Well,
You've even got your followers to gerrymander the Louis Van Gaal fall.
No, I studied the fall time and time again over the weekend
Yeah.
because I thought the challenge might come from yourself.
Yeah.
And when the challenge came, I was ready.
Yeah, how about this then? Nick says, the Porky quiz has got to be on badgers, I reckon. Hashtag plank. Julian says, Porky should do a quiz on British wildlife.
Yeah, well, we don't need to, because we want to talk about the quiz this week, don't we? And the quiz this week, I am nominating the subject to be Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali is he's due in this country quite soon.
He's coming over soon, isn't he?
Yeah, there's a petition which is demanding that he be given, on behalf of the Queen of this country, an honorary knighthood because of his contribution to boxing over the years, perhaps the greatest ever boxer. And I thought, well, you know, what a worthy subject he would be for the Porky quiz this week.
Yes, well, that's not a bad shout. I've got no objection to doing that.
Oh, that's good of you.
Well, I mean, normally you would, being as it's a show but with two people involved in it, normally it would be something that you would ask for and wait for the answer rather than dictating what you should get the
excuse
quiz
me,
on.
I don't have to ask. I can, I can suggest a few.
Well, that didn't sound like a suggestion to me.
Well, you're sometimes so slow in nominating a subject. I thought I'd better get moving.
I always ask you because that's the polite thing to do. There's no point in me saying, right, this week the quiz will be on. Because I'm not that sort of dictatorial figure.
Okay.
Now, how about this from Ernie?
Yeah.
Don't give hedgehogs milk as they are lactose intolerant.
Oh, okay.
So milk is not what
I thought they did. I thought hedgehogs.
No, I think
drunk milk.
you give badgers milk.
Badgers milk.
They like malted milk. Actually.
Malted milk. Yeah.
Now, how about this from where are we? Tom says, "Well done, Porky. You honestly think fictional and mythical are the same thing? You truly are a plank of the highest order."
No, I'm not. And there's very little difference between those two words. Believe me.
And Ashley, who's a singer-songwriter from Liverpool, says this: Does Porky have any taste in music except the Beatles? How doesn't he know these artists and songs?
It depends how bizarre they are. I tell you, one guy's been around a bit lately, old Noel Gallagher, isn't he?
He certainly has.
Manchester City.
He was on the sports bar earlier.
He was, yeah, but I saw
there was
him
a picture of him in the dressing room. What did you make of that picture of Yaya Toure, by the way? That made quite a big thing on
Which one?
Social media. Well, there's one picture of the City team celebrating in the dressing room.
Yes.
And in one particular frame that I've seen, off to the left, if you're sitting facing the camera, is Yaya Toure on his own, sitting literally on the bench.
Yes.
Without really appearing to join in.
Oh.
But then there's a later picture, and a lot was made of that, saying, this obviously means that Yaya Touré's gone, he's not interested.
No, he was the star of the day. He scored the winning penalty.
Yes, no, I know that.
Yeah.
But the point is that, because of that one image, a lot of people thought, well, this is very significant.
Yeah.
But then there's a later image where he's taking part, so it's all a bit odd.
He's sitting on somebody's shoulders being carried around the dressing room.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one image which really shocked me, Mike, and, you and I have been in the newspaper business for many, many years. Do you see the picture of... They found this drifting fishing boat, right?
Yeah.
And when they got on board, they were horrified to find that the man who owned the boat had he died on board the boat, and his body was mummified in the cabin downstairs.
Is this because it was at the bottom of the sea?
No, the boat was floating around on the water and had been for 7 years.
Well, how was he mummified then?
Well, I don't know, because maybe the air was so dry because of the heat or something like that his body never disintegrated.
Oh, I see.
It never rotted. It never, what's the word? It
decomposed.
Decomposed, something like that. And
how bizarre.
Absolutely. And the thing is, remember a few years ago, or maybe a year ago,
his name is Manfred.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. There was a story about a fisherman who said that he survived at sea for 15 months in a boat floating around in exactly the same part of the world. And somebody said, well, in 15 months...
you weren't mummified.
No, in 15 months, you must have seen the odd ship. And this boat was floating around for 7 years.
Yeah.
And nobody ever saw it.
That's very odd, isn't it?
The mummified body of a sailor has been found slumped in his yacht's cabin 7 years after he vanished. 2 fishermen spotted his boat drifting off the coast of the Philippines at the weekend and found Manfred Fritz Bajarat, perfectly preserved corpse, inside. Manfred, 59, was slumped at the radio as if trying to make a call when he died, possibly of a heart attack.
Wow. That's very unusual.
His body is thought to have been preserved by the salt in the Pacific Ocean, winds and the dry climate. It's not known how long ago he died, but police said it was not suspicious. But he was last seen in his boat 7 years ago.
Oh, dear.
I mean, that's amazing.
That is very odd.
Yeah, it is.
That
indeed.
is really odd.
Yeah.
Now, Julian's given us some quite interesting information here about the word brock.
Oh, good.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because English, he says, is brock.
Right.
In Scots, it's brocks. In Scottish Gaelic, it's brocklach.
Brocklach.
Irish Gaelic is brock.
Yes.
Welsh is mochindair. Welsh is broch.
We're talking about Welsh, by the way, Mike, because we're going to Cardiff soon, right?
We are,
the, what's it called? The tram shed.
The tram shed, yeah.
Tram shed. I put out I spoke to my friend who's fluent in Welsh and put out the Welsh word for bladderated.
I saw that.
The weekend.
It didn't look authentic to me.
No, it was. It is, yeah.
I don't think so. How do you pronounce it?
What?
How do you pronounce it? You've forgotten the word, haven't you?
No.
How do you say it then?
I'll go and get Gelly.
That doesn't even sound Welsh.
Yes, it is. Yes,
no, it doesn't.
Yeah, it is.
It sounds like
Welsh.
gibberish.
No, it's not. It's not.
Complete gibberish. How about this? Brock the Badger is a character in the Sam Pig stories by Alison Utley.
Oh.
Says somebody texting into 81080.
Really?
Porky, you're an embarrassment to the stockbroker belt.
Oh, excuse me, why? Why am I?
Because you got it wrong. You called it Sprock.
Oh, all right. So Brock, you know what I'm talking about.
Brock,
you'll realise what we were talking about, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
How far would you go on a date?
What?
How far would you go
what
on
do you
a
mean,
date?
How far? What sort of question is that?
Well,
I don't believe I should answer that.
The reason I'm asking is because society is now so wealthy that rich businessmen in New York or rich businessmen in London are going transatlantic just to fix up a date. And they're on private jets and everything.
Oh, do you mean distance?
Yeah, distance,
I thought you meant something else.
No, you idiot. Of course you would think that because you've got a warped
I don't know what
mind.
you meant.
Exclusive matchmaking services say there's been a dramatic rise in people from London looking to jump on a private jet and travel across the Atlantic.
Looking to jump on a private jet?
Yeah. Travel across the Atlantic for a date in the belief that more fruitful romantic opportunities lie in America than they do in London.
Well, I mean, certainly was true when I lived in New York City. That there was 4 single women to every single man.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So I don't know if that's still the case.
Well, it might be, I don't know.
Although you'd have to say that the neuroses level in New York was slightly higher than it is here.
Well, I went out for a while with a lady known as a Jap, didn't I? Jewish-American princess.
Yes, she was also known as the New York Welcoming Committee.
She certainly was, yeah, that was the problem. And of course...
Don't give her name away.
No, they are massively neurotic, as you quite rightly
Well,
say.
I don't imagine you probably helped in that
area. Sorry, I got an itchy nose.
What's going on with you?
I don't know, I've just got an itchy nose.
Well, you don't wipe it while you're talking.
Well, I'm sorry.
Mind?
I have a tissue here. Now, listen, what I was going to tell you is there's this company called Barclay.
Barclay?
A London-based...
It's a big bank, isn't it?
No, it's B-E-R-K. Berkeley.
As in Berkeley Square.
Yeah.
A Nightingale sang.
That's right, yeah. A London-based matchmaker that charges £18,000 a year.
What?
$18,000 a year.
You'd have to be mad.
It's a subscription, and said there's been a 50% rise in Londoners being introduced to New Yorkers. OK?
What sort of maniac would pay 18,000 quid to meet a woman?
I don't know. Vida Consultancy, which seeks to find life partners for the world's most exceptional people.
No, great.
Charges a one-off...
what's it called?
It's called Vida, V-I-D-A,
right.
Consultancy, which seeks to find life partners for the world's exceptional people, charges a £9,000 for a one-off introduction fee.
This is brilliant, isn't it? High-end dating agency, exclusive world-class matchmaking.
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally one born every minute, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, whenever you see something called high-end,
yeah,
you think, oh, yeah, hello, here comes the rip-off.
Yeah,
let's meet the team.
Meet the team. Well, the team, this is the team at Vida, is it?
Vida, yeah.
Yeah.
Rachel Vida McLean.
Oh, yeah?
She's the founder and managing director.
Right.
She's dedicated her career to matchmaking since 2006.
Oh, is she?
She's been shortlisted as best matchmaker in the UK.
No.
Business psychologist.
Yeah.
She's originally from Ireland.
Yeah.
She's run the New York Marathon and reached the summit of Kilimanjaro.
Really?
Oh, well, all right, darling. He's 18 grand then.
Yeah, that's right.
Jacqueline Burns, senior matchmaking.
Yep.
She's dual British and Canadian. She's got an undergraduate degree in sociology.
It says here in my report that...
Joanna Zangarini's trilingual.
Well, it says here that the boss is a lady called Rachel McLean.
I've just told you that.
Oh, sorry, was that the first lady?
That was the first one.
Oh, I see, sorry.
Well,
right,
her middle name is Vida.
Oh,
That's where the name comes from.
I see, Rachel Vida. Yeah,
God's
okay,
sake.
Yeah, well...
How about Mia Galea is dual British and Maltese.
Yes. Oh, these are all women, are they?
She's got a background in luxury hospitality.
Right, so there's no male employees so far, then. So anyway...
No, they all seem to be women, yeah.
So Rachel, who's the founder, she says that New York men believe British women are more relaxed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In what sense?
I don't know. While New York women claim our men are less discerning. In addition, rich businessmen spend so much of their time travelling the world, they're never in their home city.
Oh, dear.
What are you laughing at?
Your pronouncement of businessman.
Why?
Because it's not businessman.
Oh, well, I think it is. But anyway, there you go.
This is rubbish, isn't
I don't know
it?
what you're talking
maybe
about.
You should try them out. Maybe, well, you know what we could do?
What?
Is you could maybe get a freebie and say you're going to talk
Okay.
about it on the air.
Right.
And get yourself over there.
Yeah, good idea.
See how many women at the high end you get introduced to.
Yes, quite fancy
Especially if you get the
Good
Aston
idea.
Martin.
Eh?
Especially if you get the Aston
Get
Martin.
the Aston Martin out, you're quite right indeed.
Right,
Yeah.
winners and losers coming up very shortly. This is Talk Sport.
Time for a new 16-plate van. Time for a Mercedes-Benz Citan, Vito or Sprinter. How about 0% APR and a service plan for just £10 a month across the whole model range? There's never been a better time than this March to drive away with a new 16-plate Mercedes-Benz van. Clock's ticking. Find out more at mbvans.co.uk. Business users only. Hire purchase only. Maximum term 36 months. Minimum deposit 20%. VAT at 20% applies. Credit approvals by 31st of March 2016. Mercedes-Benz Finance.
An attack has decimated the British capital.
What do you want?
London descending into chaos.
This Thursday, London will fall and a hero will rise.
Stay with me. We'll get you out of here.
Gerard Butler, Aaron Eckhart, and Morgan Freeman.
Get down!
Don't miss the sequel to Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh, my God.
London Has Fallen in cinemas Thursday. Rated 15.
Even if you are driving high, you've got no reason to be pulled over, have you? It's not like the weed is affecting you. Anyway, you know these roads, and the police can't tell you're stoned, can they? It's not like your eyes are red or you're acting a bit strange. You'll be fine. Except if you get pulled over, the roadside swab will be able to tell that you've done drugs on the spot, leading to a criminal record, a minimum 12-month driving ban, and a large fine. Think. Don't take drugs and drive.
Get set for a tick-attacker takeoff when we play Back of the Jet on TalkSport with Beko, official sponsors of FC Barcelona. Listen to Hawksby and Jacobs all this week from 1. Prove you're eager about La Liga by answering TalkSport's teasers. And you and 3 friends could be in the Back of the Jet to see FC Barcelona versus Valencia with VIP tickets. Enter at TalkSport.com/win. Play Back of the Jet on TalkSport with Beko. Beko's stylish new built-in range comes with a 2-year warranty. Everything you love about Beko built in.
Tomorrow night from 8, exclusive national radio commentary of Liverpool versus Manchester City. Barclays Premier League live on Talk Sport.
We've teamed up with Barclays to inspire the next generation of young fans. Each week we're offering young fans the unforgettable experience of attending their first ever match. This week we're giving away a pair of tickets to Sunday's game, West Brom versus Manchester United at the Hawthorns. So if you know a young Baggies fan that you'd like to take along to their first match, answer this question.
That's right. Who scored their first senior goal for Manchester United when they played West Brom in the reverse fixture this season? OK, was it A, Jesse Lingard, or was it B, Paddy McNair? Text the word first, that's F-I-R-S-T, followed by A for Lingard or B for McNair to 81089. Tickets are in the home end. The competition closes at 5 p.m. tomorrow, Wednesday.
As with all TalkSport competitions, text costs 50p and standard network charges apply. Head to TalkSport.com for full terms and conditions. And we'll also get you on air this Sunday to tell us all about your experience.
That's right. Get texting now to play first games on TalkSport with Barclays, championing the true spirit of the game.
Now, a lot of football coming up in the next couple of nights.
Yeah.
We've got 5 games tonight.
Yeah.
And then another bunch on Wednesday night, including the live TalkSport commentary game with Liverpool against Manchester City. Funny that they're playing each other so soon, isn't it? After
No, it happens all the time. It happens all the time.
It doesn't happen all the time.
It does.
The League Cup final only happens once a year.
Yes, I know, but the number of times that a team plays another team in a cup tie...
Well, I know Everton and Manchester City played each other famously in the league and also in the cup.
As I say, it happens all the time.
Well, that doesn't happen all the time.
It does.
But
it
anyway,
does. It does.
I mean, we'll talk about the Liverpool game tomorrow, because but tonight we obviously have to do a little bit of the old Selco predictor for Tuesday, March the 1st.
Right.
So, are you ready?
I'm ready, yeah.
For the games as they appear.
Yes.
All 7:45 kick-off.
Yes.
Aston Villa against Everton, first of all.
Aston Villa 0, Everton 3.
Aston Villa 0, Everton 3.
Sorry, but I mean, Everton's now been revitalised by the news that they've got a new investor, brand new investor.
And also Aston Villa haven't got brand new anything, really, have they?
Well, Villa to me look like a club that's on its literally
knees.
On its, yeah. I was going to say on its ass, but certainly on its knees. Yeah.
It could be both, actually.
Yeah.
I've got 0-2. So I think Everton are going to win that one.
Right.
Bournemouth against Southampton.
Yeah, intriguing that. And it's a South Coast battle.
That is a bit of a local derby, isn't it?
Yeah, I was quite surprised that Chelsea managed to overcome Southampton, but, it was good. But I think Southampton will be too strong for Bournemouth.
Really?
I think it'll be Bournemouth 0, Southampton 2.
I've got 1-1 for that one.
Okay.
And then Leicester against West Brom.
Yeah.
I said last Friday, you might not remember this, but I thought that, the old karma might start catching up with Jamie Vardy, Bentley and all that kind of thing. And I thought that when they were very, very close to get a point, I thought here it all goes. But they did very well, so I think they're going to win this. 2-0.
Yeah, I funny enough, I'll endorse that. I'll say 2-0 as well, because the games that are going to get them the Premier League title now are those middle table games. You know what I mean? It's not the results now against City and Arsenal and all that.
Right.
It's the middle of the table teams. That
I don't even think they've got that many of those left. I think they've played all their top.
I think they have. They've got the easiest run in, but their victory at the weekend, 1-0, an 89th minute goal. That's the way you win Premier League titles, by getting those 2 points.
I think that's very important
in the last couple of minutes of the game.
Definitely. Norwich against Chelsea. Next.
Well, Norwich are hapless. Norwich have got 1 point from the last 5 games. So I've got to say Norwich 1, Chelsea 3.
Yeah, I've got exactly the same score.
Yeah.
I've been copying my crib sheet.
No.
And then finally, Sunderland against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
I heard Sam Allardyce talking earlier on today about how basically they're going to have to try and keep some clean sheets, because if they have to keep scoring 2 goals every time they need to win a game, then they're going to be in trouble.
But I also heard Alan Pardew speaking today about Crystal Palace now being in a relegation battle, and I think he's absolutely right. Yeah. And I think Sunderland at home will be too strong for a Palace team which have lost their mojo. So I'm going to say Sunderland 2, Palace 1.
I've got 2-0.
Okay.
So we're almost in complete agreement there.
Yeah.
How did you do at the weekend, by the way? I'm not sure how well you did.
Pretty well.
I did very well on a couple of them. I predicted the Chelsea score exactly.
Yeah.
Plus 30 points for that.
So
all's going well. Now, I've got the Leicester run in here, and I'm right to say that they're not playing anybody now.
No, that's right.
The highest up team they're playing is Manchester United.
I know, that's amazing.
And that's their third last game.
Yeah.
They got Norwich, West Brom, Watford. Sorry, Norwich has already happened, hasn't it?
Yeah.
West Brom, Watford, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Southampton, Sunderland, West Ham, Swansea, Man United, Everton, Chelsea.
That's right, yeah.
But, I mean, they're all mid-table sides, apart from Man United.
I think Chelsea will be more than a mid-table side by the time they play them. I think, old, what's his name, Gus Hiddink will have got them back into some sort of routine.
Maybe.
But the amazing thing is that they could, of course, win it against the team that Ranieri was sacked from.
Yeah.
Where Mr. Abramovich first arrived.
Exactly.
And that would be the total irony of the lot, wouldn't it?
It really would.
Fascinating. Everybody wants to see it, but if somebody asked me now who's going to win, I'd say it's got to be Spurs.
Really?
Well, Spurs have won the last 6 games.
A lot of Spurs fans don't want you to say that because we put the porky jinx on.
Well, Spurs have won the last 6 games. I know they've got some very hard games, including the North London derby this weekend.
Yeah.
But blimey, you get into a run like that where you have so much self-belief, you just think you can't lose.
They've got to play Chelsea as well, third last game.
Yes, they have, yeah. And I've spoken to Ray Houghton about it when he played for the victorious Liverpool team that he played in, for so many years. And he said, when we went out, we just knew we were going to win. He said we didn't have any doubt in our mind at all, never even considered whether we get 1 point or 2 points. He said it was always going to get 3 points,
Yeah, exactly right. Losty says this on Twitter. The Channel 4 show The Undateables charges people grand to pay matchmaking agencies. Isn't that exploiting the disabled? Well, I don't know about that. Here's one from Peter who says, yes, but only 1/3 of Porky's heart works. That and the fact that London pollution has got to him earns him the win.
I don't think it has got to me at all. I wouldn't worry about that, mate. I don't believe that. I think a lot of the pollution stories in this world are massively overblown. I think it's a lot of it's propaganda from people who want to charge us more and more in taxes because they don't like people to spend their own money.
Yeah, maybe so. Jez says this. Yaya Toure wasn't happy because when he scored the penalty, the Manchester City team all ran over to the City keeper rather than him.
Yeah, well, they did,
why
I suppose.
Why would that bother him?
Yeah, no, they did. Right, it says here from Losty, it's a lady, she says, I can actually imagine old Porky on the TV show First Dates. Have either of you seen it? It's hilarious. Maybe one for Porky Vision.
I haven't seen it.
No, I haven't. What is it?
First Dates, well, I presume it's a show about people going on a date for the first time.
I suppose so. Yeah, it's a blind date thing, apparently. Right. Did
I tell you I saw Spectre over the weekend?
How did you see it?
How?
Yes.
I downloaded it.
You downloaded it?
Yeah.
How much did that cost then?
I rented it. I think it was about £4 or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, and how long can you keep it for?
48 hours.
And then what do you have to do? Send it back?
What?
Do you send it back? What are you laughing at, you idiot?
Yeah, you send it back. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, you just have to switch the reverse little switch on the download
yeah, exactly.
button,
That's what I'm saying.
And then it goes all the way back up the pipe.
Yeah, well, what else? Which other way can you not do it?
What?
Which other way can you not do it?
Well, you can either buy it, right?
When you download it, you've got it. So why?
Well, not necessarily. You can stream it. Right.
No, what I'm saying is, who says you can only watch it in the next 48 hours?
Well, the people you rent it from. You can't rent it ad infinitum. So they give you, it's like when you remember when you used to go to Blockbuster and rent a video?
But if you're downloading it electronically, do they take it back?
No, you stream it. Which means that you don't actually download it physically.
Oh, what do you do?
Well, you stream it.
And then they cut off the stream, do they?
No. No. It's just available. It's just available to watch for 48 hours.
I see.
After 48 hours,
that,
you can't watch it anymore.
Well,
unless you rent it again.
Funny enough, I was in, I think it was Morrison's, right? But it might not have been Morrison's. It might have been somewhere else. I do a lot of shopping over the weekend. And
a lot of shop. Well, like what? What do you mean?
Oh,
for the cottage pie?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. Sorry?
What did you put in it?
Mince, carrots, onion, basil.
Basil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else there was. Parsnips.
Parsnips?
Parsnips, yeah.
Why?
Because I like
parsnips
them.
In cottage
I like
pie.
them. And
what did you do with them? Boil them?
Of course. And then fluffy, and then I baked them in the oven.
Baked what?
the cottage pie.
Oh, right, okay.
Did
you mash the potatoes or did you buy mash?
No, I did my own potatoes.
Did you?
Yes. With fluffy potatoes on the top. But anyway, the point is, I was...
and a lot of people came round?
It was a pleasant social occasion,
There were some
thank
guests
you.
involved.
Yeah, pleasant
Who
social
was it?
occasion.
Who was there?
You don't need to know that.
Oh, I do need to know.
Pleasant social occasion. Anyway, walking around Morrison's, I
Yeah.
saw one of these, what do you call them, point of sale type things.
Point of sale.
And it was a load of Spectre for £7.
Yes, the supermarkets are all selling them for
£7.
Yeah, but that's for the DVD.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean,
That's
because
quite
then,
cheap, isn't it?
Because then if you're paying £4 to rent it for 48 hours effectively, and I bought one for £7 and I've got it for life, then mine's a better deal.
True, but it was one of those situations where the kids wanted to see it, and the idea was that we didn't want to go out and buy the DVD.
I'm thinking
so it was a sort of straightforward transaction.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm thinking of subscribing now to Netflix because House of Cards is coming back
House
on
of Cards
Friday.
on Friday, yes.
Now, what do? Do I just ring up Sky and say I want Netflix?
I don't know how it works on Sky because I've got it on a smart TV.
Ah.
So I'm not even sure you can get it on Sky. You might be able to.
Well, somebody must be able to supply it to me. It's got to come on the Sky platform because Sky are the only people who've got a platform.
I can't answer that.
Well, it must do. I mean, BT, which is the opposition sports station, comes on the Sky platform.
It does.
Because Sky are the only people who've got a platform.
But I'm not sure that Netflix is actually on there.
Oh, well, I'm told it's not supported through Sky TV, but I wonder whether they rent out the platform or whatever.
Well, no, that means you need to get a smart TV. Because it's not a TV channel. It is an internet-based channel.
I see.
So unless you've got a smart TV, you won't be able to see it.
Well, you can't get it. Is that right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like the iPlayer, right? You can get the iPlayer on your computer, but you can't actually get the iPlayer, I don't believe, on the Sky platform.
I think it's time for a new TV, to be honest.
Well, I think you must have...
World's moving on.
You know what you should get? It's one of these new 4K TVs.
Yeah, well, I might do.
They cost about $3,000. You'd appreciate that. You spend an awful lot of money. It's an amazing picture as well.
Well, I'm sure it is, and I must think about it. But the trouble is, TVs now are so out of date 6 months after you buy them.
Well, I know.
You buy another one.
Well, how old is the one you got now?
About... it's not that
2
old.
or 3 years?
No. About... 2 years, probably.
Really?
18 months, 2 years. Yeah. But, I mean, we need a curved TV now, don't we, to watch pictures properly?
No, you don't. No,
I quite fancy that.
That's a rip-off. No, don't get one of those.
Yep.
Anyway, we're running very, very late, as ever. We've got winners and losers coming next.
Yes.
Talk Sport on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
Freedom for sport.
Can we kick it? Yes, we can. Talk Sport.
And now it's time for the winners and losers. It is that time of the week where we have the world's most controversial radio competition, winners and losers. It's been the subject of some, shall we say, debate in the past. We haven't yet worked out who's going to go first. Would you like to go first with your losers or with your winners?
I will go first with my winners.
Okay, so that means I'll go first with my losers.
Yes, that's fair enough, yes.
Okay. Well, we're agreed on that.
Right.
Right. Now, my first three losers begin with Scott Quigg. Scott Quigg, who was previously unbeaten in his boxing career.
Well, I was going first with winners.
Hey?
You're going first with losers.
You're going first with winners, yeah.
Right, what are you going first with?
I'm going first with losers.
Oh, right, okay, sorry.
Right,
okay.
You try and keep up.
Right, yeah,
for
okay.
goodness sake.
Okay.
Carl Frampton beat Scott Quigg at the weekend.
Right.
Right. Are you aware of this? You look completely mystified.
No.
To add the WBA Super Bantamweight title
yes.
to the IBF title that he already owned. Before the fight, Quigg was full of himself, saying that he was going to be the one guy that was going to unify the title.
Yes.
He was going to be the only one that could have the discipline to do it all. And basically, he was beaten very, very soundly, even though one of the judges, bizarrely, seemed to think that he'd won the fight. Ends up with a broken jaw. Frampton's now saying he's not very keen on having a rematch because it was such a big margin of victory. So, Scott Quigg, I think, as much as he might have put up as good a fight as he could, is the loser for the first time in his life in the professional boxing arena.
Really?
And therefore, and I think if he's not going to get a rematch with Frampton, then I think he's looking down the wrong end of the old boxing career, I'm afraid.
I think that's a very complicated loser.
Not at all complicated.
Sorry.
Just because you don't understand boxing.
No, I do.
My next loser is Wetherspoons.
Right.
Wetherspoons, who you might have noticed over the weekend, have decided to do away with the Sunday roast.
How can there be losers doing that? They never serve any.
What do you mean they never serve any?
I go in there all the time on Sundays. People don't eat roasts in Wetherspoons. They eat fish and chips, they eat pies and all that kind of stuff.
Maybe
eat children's children's meals.
Maybe you just don't go into the Wetherspoons where they do.
They've ditched them because they don't sell them.
The whole point of the Sunday roast is that in a pub you can get a Sunday roast for a relatively small amount of money, and I just think that they are doing away with, and I'm surprised you don't agree with me on this.
People go to Carvery's for
they're doing away with one of the great British traditions.
Not really.
And I think it tells you that there's something wrong with the way that the company operates.
No, not at all.
That's my second winner, loser. And then my third loser is basically Arsene Wenger.
Yes.
Arsene Wenger, who looked for all the world like a man completely lost, couldn't understand why his team weren't trying very hard, couldn't understand why they couldn't beat a Manchester United defence that was not particularly brilliant, and couldn't understand why, for the umpteenth time, it looks as though Arsenal are going to blow their chance of winning the Premier League.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Those are my three losers of the weekend.
OK, you want my losers now?
I do.
Right, OK. My first loser has to be Raheem Sterling. I'm sorry,
Why?
but he missed two...
You're obsessed with Raheem Sterling.
No, I'm not.
He won a cup winner's medal.
And he missed two absolutely wonderful chances.
He's got a cup winner's medal.
Yeah, but what he hasn't got is he hasn't got the glory as the man of the match, and he could have had if he'd scored 2 goals for Manchester City.
So everyone who doesn't win man of the match is a loser?
Well, I'm telling you, he's a loser because he could have so easily won man of the match and not subjected his team to a heartbreaking 30 minutes of extra time. Heartbreaking because that ended up as 0-0, and then winning on penalties.
Well, they won, though.
And also, having missed those 2 glorious chances, did not then step forward and take a penalty.
I see.
Which I think is the very least he should have done to atone.
Maybe he wasn't asked to take a penalty.
To atone for his misses. So he's my first loser,
I think you're turning it into a personality
No,
feud
I'm
with
not.
this man.
I'm not. The facts back up what I'm saying.
Really?
He is my major loser. Now, my second loser, are train spotting fans who gathered at Little Bytham, just outside York, to see the Flying Scotsman come past for the first time in 50 years, right?
This was last week, wasn't it?
No, this is the weekend.
Weekend?
Yeah, with all the steam...
Are you sure it wasn't last Thursday?
No, I'm absolutely certain. With all the steam coming out of the funnel on the engine, only for a Virgin train, a modern Virgin train, to suddenly go whoosh and slink the other way and completely obscure their view as the Flying Scotsman went by. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Some of the people, they'd been waiting there for 2 days to take a picture of the Flying Scotsman.
And when did you say this happened?
It's happened over the weekend.
Are you sure?
Absolutely certain. It certainly happened since we did this last week. And it's anything that happened in the last week.
So you're admitting that it might have happened last week?
No, not at all.
Well, no, it's meant to be something over the weekend.
No. My third loser, and I think this will win it for me. This is an incredible fact.
Yeah.
Adele fans who might want to see her on her new tour.
Yeah.
One of the shows is at the O2.
Yes.
And currently, on the black market and in other locations, one seat for the Adele concert is costing up to £24,840.
You'd have to be an idiot to pay that kind of money to go and see anyone.
24... Yeah, that's why Adele fans are losers. Because people who can afford to buy that are pushing away the real fans who can't afford it.
Rubbish.
Adele fans are losers if they haven't got £24,840 to pay for a seat.
Well, what about all the people that have bought tickets at face value?
These are face value, actually. These come through a reputable ticket agency. It's just that they're the very best seats in the house.
Three very bizarre choices.
No, not at all. Raheem Sterling, the train spotters who were denied access to the Flying Scotsman after queuing for 2 days, and Adele fans, £24,840 for a ticket for one of her concerts.
Yeah.
I commend my choices to the house.
Indeed. Well, let's have the winners now, because you get to go first.
OK.
Everyone's a winner, baby, that's no lie. That's no lie. You never fail to satisfy.
Right, OK.
So if you're ready, you may go first with your winners.
Exactly. Now, my first winner is so obvious, but you just cannot make this boy not a winner this week. Willie Caballero, who, of course, the Manchester City goalkeeper, saved 3 penalties in the penalty shootout and single-handedly won the League Cup trophy for Manchester City.
Single-handedly?
Yes, he's got... Well, you get my drift. A hand. It was a hand on each occasion that stopped it, right?
I see.
And he has to be top of the winners list. The second winner... And again, it may sound a bit obvious, but you've got to include this boy in the list of winners. Leonardo DiCaprio, my old mate.
Because if you could pronounce his name right.
Yeah, because, of course, he'd been nominated 4 previous times for an Oscar. Never went...
nominated 6 times, actually.
Exactly, but never went home with one. And on this occasion, picked it up for that fantastic film of his.
What's the name of it?
The Revenant.
Very good.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And my third one, which I think is pretty good as well.
Yeah.
Now, you may not be aware of this, but I am. His name is Maro Itoje. And he plays for the England rugby team.
This is the guy who was on page 3 of the Daily Mail last Friday.
He was on page 3 of the Daily Mail. He played for England over the weekend. Not only went to Harrow, his parents are Nigerian immigrants, right, who came to this country.
Yes.
He won a scholarship to Harrow because he was such a fine sportsman. He went there. He is a strapping 6'5" tall guy, incredibly handsome, and at 18 years of age made his debut for England and got man of the match in several of the reports that I saw. What an achievement that is for the young man. He's clearly going to be a huge star of the future.
Really?
Those are my three. Willie Caballero, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Maro Itoje, the brand new, brilliant England rugby player.
I see.
I commend my choices to the House.
You seem to have missed out the most obvious winner of the weekend.
Oh, yes.
All round.
Yes.
Which has to be, as we acted out a little bit earlier, Mr. Louis van Gaal.
Well, you say that, not
Louis
me.
van Gaal
Yeah.
not only proved himself to be able to overcome Arsenal
Yes.
in what would have been a very, very surprising result if you'd tried to predict that before the weekend, but he also proved himself to be a bit of a player. A little bit of a sort of a dramatist, somebody that could actually show some passion eventually. And I think there's no question at all that he provided the best entertainment of the entire weekend. And if you're a Man United fan, entertainment has been sorely lacking lately.
But I'm sorry, you can't rub out his record this season on one result and call him a winner. You just
I'm
can't.
not calling him a winner simply because of beating Arsenal.
You've got him in top of your winners list.
Not just because he beat Arsenal, but
he's
because
not going to be a winner when he loses his job at the end of the season.
Because of the great entertainment value that he provided. I mean, nobody over the weekend could have missed what he did. There were memes going around all over the place. All sorts of different sort of pictures were put out about him. He was the dominant player of the entire weekend. Of everything else that happened, Louis van Gaal was top of that particular list. Also, another Manchester United player has to be put in there, and that is, of course, Marcus Rashford.
It's a one-off, mate.
It is not a one-off. He scored 4 goals in his first 2 games for Manchester United. He's been described as a special talent, right? He scored twice against FC Michelin in the Europa League on Thursday night. Scores twice against Arsenal. And has proved himself to be quite the player. And as people have often said, lots of players did it in their first game. When they came back for the second game, not so much.
It's very Manchester United heavy, isn't it?
It is very Manchester United heavy.
I mean, it really is not showing much imagination here, are we?
You can't ignore, basically, a young man like that. And you can't ignore what Louis van Gaal did on the touchline. The definition of news is something that doesn't happen very often, right?
Go on.
Now, a young man like Rashford scoring 4 goals in his first 2 games for Manchester United doesn't happen very often. And Louis van Gaal falling over like that doesn't happen very often either.
It seems to me like you haven't seen anything except the Manchester United game over the weekend.
Well,
anyway,
I also saw the Spurs game, and my third winner is Mauricio Pochettino. Because he did what a lot of managers fail to do when his team is 1-0 down and he needs to get the points to get himself up there to be still in contention for the winning of the Premier League. He puts the right people on as substitutes, and Chadley comes on, scores a goal. Suddenly it's 1-1. Suddenly they're 2-1 up and they've got 3 points.
But I had him as a winner 2 weeks ago. When he got his 4th victory on the trot. So you're just really riding on my back there.
I would not want to ride on your back or any other part of you, to be honest. But all I can say is that I think my winners are far more relevant than yours.
No, I think mine are.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, I have every idea what I'm talking about, and I think the audience will back that up because you're the fatness of your face and the arrogance with which you delivered your verdicts. Simply don't add up. They just don't add up.
The score is currently 64% to me, 36% to you.
2/3
14 votes cast.
2/3 of your choices were Manchester United, which in itself is far too.
That's not true.
Manchester
My
United
choices,
heavy.
No, that was only 2 out of 6.
That's 2 out of 3 for one category.
No, it's 2 out of 6.
64% represents the 2 out of 3.
2 out of 6.
No,
I made 3 choices in the winners and 3 choices in the losers.
Yeah, well, 2 of your
only
winners,
2 of them.
Manchester United.
So it's only 1/3.
I think you'll find that I'll romp home on this one.
All right, 64-36 to me.
Vote Porky.
Don't
vote
say it.
often.
No, you see, you've gone back to that.
No,
you're supposed to be away from that.
Yeah, I'm away from that. Yeah.
Well, so can you retract it?
Well, no, because it's my theme call now, isn't it? I don't actually I want people to vote more than once. No, of course not. Of course not.
Okay, he doesn't want you to vote more than once.
No.
El Plankeries. This is Talk Sport.
When you need all the latest form and odds on all the day's sporting action, and you need it fast, you need the Coral Daily Download. Get all the latest news and great offers on all the big games and all the biggest race meetings in one essential package. Delivered to your ears at the speed of sound. Don't miss the Coral Daily Download every morning on the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast from 6 on Talk Sport with Coral. Your best bet for breakfast.
Time for a new 16-plate van. Time for a Mercedes-Benz Citan, Vito or Sprinter. How about 0% APR and a service plan for just £10 a month across the whole model range? There's never been a better time than this March to drive away with a new 16-plate Mercedes-Benz van. Clock's ticking. Find out more at mbvans.co.uk. Business users only. Hire purchase only. Maximum term 36 months. Minimum deposit 20%. VAT at 20% applies. Credit approvals by 31st of March 2016. Mercedes-Benz Finance.
Whether you're a butcher, baker, bar owner, onesie tailor, mechanic, optician, cat groomer, bespoke dog suit maker, exotic fruit seller, jeweller or landscape gardener, employers across the UK, however small your business, will soon have to offer a workplace pension, even if you employ just one person. Don't ignore the workplace pension. It's the law. To find out what you need to do, when to do it, and for help through the steps, visit workplacepensions.gov.uk. This ad is brought to you by the Pensions Regulator, a public authority set up by the UK government to regulate work-based pensions.
Get the job done on Talk Sport with Toolstation. Will Spain reign again?
And Spain are into the lead.
Are France in with a chance? Or will the Three Lions finally rule? Is the International League prepared to go head-to-head to lift the biggest prize in European football? Join Hawksby and Jacobs every Monday from 1 to find out which team can get the job done. UEFA Euro 2016 on Talk Sport with Toolstation. Low prices on top trade brands. Open late 7 days a week. Find your nearest branch at toolstation.com.
Talk Sport.
They can't handle him.
Bosh, bosh, zoom, zoom. Wallop. Back of the net. Talk Sport.
A chevonement. Chevonement. A chevonement.
71 votes in, 55 to 45 at the moment.
See, the balance is coming back.
You might say that.
started off with 63-36 or something, now it's coming back.
63-36?
Yeah, something like that.
Sure.
63-37, something like that.
Peter says, Porky, you blew it. MG's losers were weak. He left the window open, but your losers were ridiculous.
Rubbish.
Come on, man, put in the effort.
Rubbish.
Ashley says, Sterling is a winner, not a loser.
Rubbish.
Here's one from Magpie Paul, who says, seriously, Porky's bitterness to Raheem Sterling is just lost in winners and losers.
No, it's not at all. It's factual. You know, the guy missed two classic
opportunities.
opportunities.
Won the cup, though.
But I'm afraid they won it despite him, not because of him.
Yeah, but they still won it, though. Matty says, so Porky's loser about Adele fans. He said they're on the black market, then says it's on a reputable ticket site.
Yeah.
Hashtag plank.
It's on both, believe me.
Paul says, terrible picks by Porky. He's put 3 winners into losers.
Yeah.
MG gets my vote.
Right, and one here from William. He says, have to say, Porky, you've excelled yourself again in winners and losers. Any sensible person has to vote for you. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. And that's the way a lot of people are thinking.
Lord Rallo says, Porky's completely lost the plot. His Sterling obsession has fogged his already cloudy mind.
No, Porky can perfectly pronounce a Nigerian name, but struggles every time with an Italian-American name. He's a plank.
And how about this?
Says Dazza.
From Steve, he says, the train spotters were on Wednesday, and they are actually winners because Virgin Atlantic has given them free flights to the USA.
No.
Well, apparently.
No.
What do you mean that's not true?
Well, that's a mishmash of information, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It really is.
Johnny says, well said, MG. I can't stand LVG, but pleased he showed some passion.
Mm-hmm. Showing some passion? Yeah, what does that mean?
Well, he showed some passion by showing that he, when he did his dive and, was remonstrating with the officials.
Yeah.
It showed that he was, at least not a completely and utterly sort of dead soul.
Yes.
Right?
Now, there's one here which says, it's a bit of advice. Porky, you can get Netflix on your smartphone and tablet. Does that suit? Well, maybe.
Well, he hasn't got a tablet, and his phone's not very smart either.
I have got a tablet. I've got a tablet.
Have you?
Yeah, I've got a Samsung tablet.
It.
Well,
why don't you ever bring it in?
Well, I haven't geared it up yet.
What do you mean you haven't geared it up?
Well, I haven't sort of loaded it up.
Why didn't you get an iPad?
I'm not sure that I'd want to carry an iPad around with me everywhere, you know what I mean?
Well, what's the difference between having that and a Samsung?
Well, I don't carry the Samsung around for the very same reason. I find mostly I can get most of the information I want on my information device, which is a Samsung phone.
Yeah, a Samsung phone, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then you can also watch House of Cards on it if you wish.
Well, I wouldn't want to sit there and watch a TV programme on my phone, would I?
Why not?
Because I'm not an idiot, I don't go around doing things like that. I have better things to do.
You're not an idiot.
No, exactly.
I would say that there may be others who would disagree.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't. Now, listen, I'll tell you what I want to talk to you about. The terrible case of a swan that was murdered.
What?
Have you read about this?
No.
Oh, it's shocking. There's a place called Sandon.
Sandon?
Yeah, Sandon. It's in Herefordshire.
Is it?
Or is it Hertfordshire?
How do you spell it?
Hertfordshire, sorry.
Hertfordshire.
Hertfordshire. It's spelled Sandon.
In Hertfordshire.
In Hertford.
Hereford. And what was that thing from My Fair Lady? Hurricanes hardly ever happen.
I don't know. It's in Hertfordshire.
You don't know.
I don't know.
It's the thing to pronounce your H's properly.
Well, I don't know about that. Hertfordshire, right?
What do you mean you don't know about it? You know Pygmalion, right?
Yeah.
Well, Pygmalion was the basis for My Fair Lady.
Yeah, I know that.
Wasn't it?
Written by Bernard Shaw.
Yeah, and the professor teaches the girl how to speak.
Yes, the rain in Spain falls mostly on the plain.
Mainly.
Yeah.
But the thing about Hertfordshire and Hereford was about the H, wasn't it?
Oh, was it? Right, OK. That's very interesting.
Hurricanes hardly ever happen.
It never...
Well, it was just because you said the two places.
Yeah, well, sorry, it's not relevant. Now, excuse me.
Well, a dead swan is relevant.
It's very relevant.
Really?
Because...
Virgin definitely paid for this guy to go to America.
It's not actually a swan, it's a goose. I've just discovered. And it's called Goose, so that's the clue.
Goose?
Yeah, Goose. It'd
be odd if it was a swan called Goose.
No, its name is Goose.
So,
Right?
apart from the fact that it's not in Hereford and it's not a swan, this is a fantastic story.
It is. It's a goose in Hertfordshire, and it lives in a phone box.
I thought you said it was murdered.
Well, I'm glad to tell you.
Well, it doesn't live in a phone box anymore, does it?
No, but it used to live in a phone box without a door. It made it its little sort of hen
without a door?
Hen coop, yeah.
Did somebody take the door off?
Yeah, somebody
They didn't bring it down here, did they?
No, didn't bring it down here, yeah. Put it on one of our new studios. Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
No, so anyway, what happens is, believe it or not, I don't know how this could have happened. It's so cruel.
What's that?
Well, the other morning, a 4x4 turns up, right? Pulls down the window, gets the window down, and shoots the goose dead.
Really?
Yeah, shoots it dead.
It's not a Canada goose, is it?
No, it's a resident goose.
Right.
Residents have spoken to their sadness at losing the bird.
That's awful.
Known only as Goose, since so many predecessors have been run over, they feared giving him a name would jinx him.
No. And so did the shooter take the goose away, or did you just leave it there?
No, it was buried. But then,
so what? He just shot it and drove off?
Yeah. Honestly, it was actually swimming on the pond at the time, right? And of course, it's caused terrible trauma because local people now have left flowers at the phone box. It's horrible.
What sort of an idiot would do something like that?
I don't know. Local children paid tribute to Goose, who has been buried near the pond's banks, in notes left with flowers inside the doorless phone box, which had become his home.
Yeah.
So it was an abandoned phone box. There wasn't a phone in it or anything like that.
Yeah.
But the strangest thing is, since then, the goose has been exhumed.
What?
It's been exhumed.
Why?
It's been dug up. Because they were trying to find out more information about how it died, and they think that it was, it was sort of dealt with a bit too quickly.
Well, surely they know how it died. It was shot, wasn't it?
RSPCA Inspector Stephen Reeves said, "I'm appalled at this alleged incident. It's a reckless and senseless act to shoot a goose in the head at point-blank range."
Yeah.
Which is what they did.
I agree.
Yeah.
But what's alleged about it?
What?
Why do people keep saying alleged when it's very clear what's actually happened? You don't have to say alleged. Do you?
No, this is not alleged. It was definitely killed.
Well, why is he saying alleged? That's my point.
I don't know, really. Because
it's
alleged
kind of
incident.
Well, it's kind of a sickness, isn't it?
Perhaps he hasn't got any direct evidence of it or hasn't spoken to anybody. But the thing is, protests were made that it's a shocking crime to go around shooting a wild bird like this.
Well, is it not an actual crime?
It is a crime. You can get a £5,000 fine and 6 months in jail.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the goose has now been dug up to produce evidence, really, in case there's a criminal case is pursued.
That's awful.
But
surely in this country there must be CCTV footage of whoever was in the truck.
No, not in a pond, Mike, in a little village in the middle of Hertfordshire, because the guy just drives up, I think it was early on a Sunday morning, the window comes down from a, you can't always see inside a 4x4, big car with lots of reflective windows, or it might have had tinted windows, I don't know, and bang, did away with Goose. It's a terrible thing.
Horrible story.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, we've got to stop for a moment.
Okay.
This is Talk Sport with the two mics.
On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
A terrific performance.
Turn of pace and eye for goal.
Shout about it.
Talk Sport.
Very nearly at the end of another sparkling show, I have to say, Mr. Parry. Welcome back to another big week. We've got loads going on. Our original vote, which was put out a couple of hours ago, is 55-45 in your favour. That's the whose dive is better on the Louis Van Gaal front. Now, that will count as 1% towards a victory in winners and losers if winners and losers is a tie, which at the moment it isn't. It's 58-42 to me. So, mind you, only 139 people have voted, so there's plenty.
Exactly. I'll balance myself up overnight. Don't worry about that.
Well, it may. I'm not worried about it. It may well be that, of course, the voting is open until midnight, and then if it is a 50% or 50-50, at that point the 1% will come from the other vote.
Exactly.
Which, as I say, at the moment you're leading. So
quite right, yeah, absolutely. So it should be.
Stuff. And we've nominated a quiz on Muhammad Ali for Thursday.
Yes.
Tomorrow, of course, it is Ask Porky.
Yes,
Tuesday
it is.
night.
Yep.
And also, we will be covering Super Tuesday for you because Donald Trump is marching closer and closer to the White House by the looks of it. And we'll be talking to a couple of experts over there.
Quite remarkable, that it?
I know.
Quite remarkable.
Absolutely extraordinary stuff.
Yeah.
More or less during the course of this day, of course, there'll be lots of other... We'll try and post those Louis Van Gaal things onto Two Mics TV.
We certainly will.
And we'll do a few other bits and pieces on Facebook as well. Don't forget to follow the Two Mics at the Two Mics on Twitter and on YouTube. Just look for Two Mics TV. The Two Mics podcast, you'll love the live show. Weekday overnights from 1am on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM and via the TalkSport app. TalkSport, your Premier League station with exclusive commentaries every weekend.
What an absolute corker!
TalkSport.
People don't care about rats. Rats are called rats because they're rats.